DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, tracking this powerful line of thunderstorms on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. It's likely to begin around 5 p.m. in our western counties and move out by 10 p.m. in our eastern counties. Ahead of the storms, we'll see a high of around 80 degrees. When the storms begin, damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes are all possible. 53 overnight tonight with clearing skies, and a nice day for Tuesday, high 70 under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 256 points to 41,839.
Maluach out for a Knipple 3. Give it to him. In on Knipple. Oh! Maluach! Sent that one to New York City. Lob it to the left. Proctor has a step on Phylon to the paint. Off the window and in. Cooper with 10 on the timer. Drifts to the right. Takes the screen. Goes inside. Scores. And he's fouled. Up top, Cooper flag. He's been the story all season long. Goes to the deck. Keeps the dribble alive. In on Sears. Spins. Goes up. Good night.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Monday. What's going on, everybody? I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing, as always. The rest of the world woke up to what we've been seeing all year. Duke's the best basketball team in college basketball. We've been talking about it. We've been saying it. We've been on it because we're here in the Triangle. But I feel like the SEC, the Big Ten, a bunch of casual fans, just bracket filler outers. 20-point win over Bama. After Bama, the previous game, broke NCAA records for how good their offense was. And now, all of a sudden, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about something special here. It is a Monday, Soundoff Monday, so at 3:30 today, we will open up the phone lines for your takes. They can be about Duke. They can be about the Canes. They can be about whatever your heart desires. But the phone lines will be open at 3:30, so bookmark this number, 919-860-5326. It's the E-Star Automotive Group hotline. 3:30, we'll open it up for you, and we want to hear from all of you. Matter of fact, if you can answer this question, I want you. This is the one. This is the $1 billion trillion question for college basketball coaches across the country this year. If you're the coach facing Duke, right, and you hear the Cooper flag this, the coming mile wash that, the veterans, the transfer portal, the NIL, whatever. If you're the coach facing Duke, what do you stop? Right? I like to ask it in this way. When you're playing, because I played college football, when you're playing against a team with a very, very, very good player or something that is the straw that stirs the opposing team's drink, guess what? That scout team member gets to wear a penny. Right? If you're playing against a team and Ed Reed is the safety, whoever's Ed Reed on the scout team puts on a different colored penny. And that person gets to be Ed Reed for the week. If you're playing a team with a special quarterback or a special running back, that scout team member wears the penny. Who wears the penny when you're playing Duke? Is it Cooper Flagg? The presumed number 1 overall pick, the National Player of the Year, the ACC Player of the Year, the Freshman of the Year, the All-American, the all of it? Is that the guy you go, all right, we got to stop him? Because Alabama kind of did. If Alabama went into that game and Nate Oates said, stop Cooper Flagg, make him inefficient, make him turn it over, well, they held him to 6 of 16 from the field and forced him into his most turnovers in a game since January. And Duke won by 20. And Duke won by 20. That's not like, well, we did what we had to do. We did what we expected. We kept it close. That is, we did what we set out to do and got smoked. Duke didn't play well in the first half. They were up 9. And Alabama is good. I want that to be clear. Alabama is one of the best offensive basketball teams we've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 years in college basketball. And they did what they were supposed to do defensively. I guarantee you that's what was the number 1 of their priority list. They did it and got beat by 20. Cooper Flagg, after the game, explained that their offense doesn't have to go through any one person.
It's kind of something that I've said a lot through this whole year, is that we just have such a talented team. Each night could be somebody else's night. I think tonight Con kind of stepped up and had the ball a lot. We ran a lot of actions for him. Tyrese was huge for us. I mean, I think it's just having so many talented guys on the team. It's not going to be your night every night, and just don't hang your head. Just keep playing hard. Something we talk about, just winning the 98%, doing all the little things. So just not letting the shots affect anything else you do, and just knowing that the rest of the guys got my back and are going to make those plays.
More so even than Con Knipple stepping up or Malawash being efficient, Tyrese Proctor scoring 17. It was Duke's ability to get stops that was the difference. Holding Alabama to 65 points.
The way they slowed down Mark Sears was phenomenal. I mean, that was a coaching masterclass by John Shire.
It was a coaching it was both. It was both. Because John Shire had I'll use a Stephen A. Smith term, the unmitigated gall to put 7'2" into switches on the perimeter and let Malawash play against guards. To have Cooper Flagg get one-on-one with Mark Sears, who is one of the best perimeter creators / shooters in the country, and not immediately send help, not just let those guys work. Let those guys work. We said it on Friday that Duke was according to analytics, at worst, the 6th best defensive team in the country. Both Alabama and Duke were top 5 offensive teams in the country by almost every metric. And the difference was Alabama generously would have been around 150th defensively. So it was elite unit offense against elite unit offense, elite unit defense against middle of all of college basketball level defense.
Subpar.
And that's what it looked like. Duke still efficient offensively, shot above 50%, knocked down a bunch of threes. I'm talking first half. Like a really, really good offense. Alabama looked like a more pedestrian offense, and that's because of the defense they were going up against. Duke was better than Alabama in shot making, which was their calling card, and still way better defensively. That's how you open up eyes nationally. And you know what? I'm going to stop this compliment because I'm hearing a lot of, and the freshmen, right? Right here, we're about to play a clip of John Shire, and the freshmen play beyond their years. These guys are freshmen that have played a boatload of minutes for like 35 games. I'm calling them sophomores. I'm calling them sophomores at this point. Best part about freshmen is they turn to sophomores, and we're never going to get to see them be sophomores. So let's just pretend they're the Elite Eight forward is their sophomore year for Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple and Kaman Malawash and maybe even somebody like Isaiah Evans. Here's Shire on the freshmen playing well beyond their years.
They're mature. Age is just a number, and obviously it's different to have 3 freshmen starting. And tonight we played 5 freshmen. A team that's going to a Final Four, and I think for our program, we've always thought about doing things differently. I think the key to this team, one is you bring in the right people as freshmen, but then you have great balance. Tyrese is a junior, Caleb coming back, Sion, Mason, Malik. That balance is huge, and I think that was really important for us in the offseason to add that, in addition to really mature freshmen who are loose, confident, competitive, and not fazed by this environment.
Yeah, they're good, but they're not normal freshmen.
They're not. And again, they have played a ton of minutes, but still experiencing the spotlight of these types of games and the pressure, that only comes with actually doing it. And this is the first time they've experienced it themselves.
But it was funny because I forget which game it was, either Friday or either the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. In the post-game presser, there were 3 guys next to John Shire, and he goes, these 3 guys, they've never experienced this. And one of them was Sion James. And I'm going he's a 5th-year senior. And this is his, obviously, Tulane, no offense to Tulane, wasn't making deep runs into the tournament every year. So there's you can have graduate seniors that are walking into a Final Four going, I've never felt pressure like this. That's not necessarily a freshman thing. And matter of fact, Cooper Flagg won the high school national championship last year. He's played against LeBron and Steph and them in Olympic games. He probably has more experience playing under gigantic amounts of pressure than a lot of juniors out there that are working their way into a role. And then the last person I want to highlight is John Shire. He's proving, and this is a massive compliment to him, that he's as good of a coach as he is a recruiter. And that's going to be real deadly if he can keep that up. There was a text, I actually went back and found it, with somebody who I trust in basketball, so I was talking questions preseason. This was from October 11th. He was asking me about Shire. I said, Shire can recruit his butt off. Got to prove he can coach in late game situations and make the adjustments, though. That's what I said preseason. You know what's even better? Pull the right strings, press the right buttons that make late game situations irrelevant. If there's a great article from Brendan Marks on The Athletic about the timeout that Duke had with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game against Alabama. The score was 69-58, so they're up 11. And their media timeout. Everybody comes over. And I have the quote here in front of me. I can't read it all to you for obvious reasons. This from The Athletic, Brendan Marks. There you go. It's our time. Right bleeping now. Right bleeping now. Shire yelled at him, essentially, at the 5 sets of eyes in front of him, as the article illustrates. And then he finished with, "This is our game." Duke ended on a 16-7 run, pushed the lead up to 20 before Mark Sears finally scored the next bucket for Alabama 3 minutes, about 3 minutes exactly, after that timeout. I think one of the things that John Shire has gotten much better at is knowing when to throw the basketball scheme nerd stuff out and appeal to the players' emotions. When to use a halftime to say, okay, we're going to change the way we're blitzing the pick and roll, and when to use a halftime to say, we're playing soft. And that's so much of coaching that the assistant coach, because he was a longtime assistant, doesn't really have to do, right? The assistant coach just talks to the head coach and then listens like everybody else in the big speech moments. Knowing which card to pull out is huge. And he's pulled out the right one all the way up till now. And now they get the Final Four. Fight for their place in history. I feel like we need like a Leonidas from 300 speech, right? It's like, do you want to, or even better, Brad Pitt in Troy, right? Like, do you want to be immortal? That's what they're fighting for now. Immortality. That's why no one will remember your name. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Fun fact about that. When I was it was JV basketball. Shout out to Coach Keikoa. He said, have all you guys seen the movie Troy? And we went, yeah. Guess what? None of us had seen the movie Troy, but we didn't want, I don't know why. We didn't want to be like the one to go like, I didn't, coach. And he gave this long rendition of the Lion speech from Troy, and none of us reacted. We were all like, I don't know what, like, we had never seen the movie. And he looked at us and just went, you guys haven't seen the movie, have you? We're like, no, actually, we haven't, coach. All right, get out there. Hands in on three. It was the most, like, anticlimactic, like, halftime speech of all time. He gave a weird rendition of a movie none of us had watched. Shire probably a little bit more on the nose than that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Monday Soundoff coming up at 3:30. Have your takes ready. We'll be opening up the phone lines for you. But first, a 2-0 weekend for the Canes, a weekend that truly had everything for Carolina. I'll tell you what that means coming up next.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the post-game mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen. The average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 30% off paints and stains March 28th through April 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Stanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Hey, welcome to Total Wireless. How can I help you?
My phone is panicking. It thinks I'm trading it in.
No worries. At Total Wireless, you get one line for $25 per month when you bring your phone.
Really? Only $25 a month for one line and I get to keep my phone? Wow.
Yep, that's 50% off the Total 5G Unlimited plan.
Visit your nearest Total Wireless store today. Restrictions apply. Compatible device required. Available exclusively online and in Total Wireless retail stores.
Romanov looks to clear, kept in. Excellent play, Jarvis to Aho. Back across, he scores! Oh my goodness! A masterful play between Aho and Jarvis, and it's 6-4 Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Little Club Lenny music coming out of break. That's Club Lenovo Center, which was bumping over the weekend. Canes, 2-0 over the weekend. And do you know what? You know what's the best part about it? Top guys played like top guys. Top guys played like top guys. Often when things aren't going well, the way that many Canes fans say it is the top guys need to play like top guys. So when they do play well, we need to flip it and give them their due. The top guys played like top guys. In the 4-1 win over Montreal, Aho scored a goal. Jarvis had a pair of assists. Taylor Hall, who I am officially putting in the top guys category, he's going to perform the way he's performing. If he's going to be driving the power play the way he's driving the power play, congratulations, you are in the club of top guys. Slavin +2 on the ice. It's always a little bit more difficult to understand his impact, but just know it was there. Top guys played like top guys. 6-4 win over the Islanders. Aho, a goal, 2 assists. Hall, another power play point, another assist there. Jarvis, 2 goals, one of which shorthanded. Shorthanded Jarvie, man. I tweeted this out. It's unexplainable, but it's meant to be enjoyed, not understood.
He has 5 of them, tying Kevin Adams for most in a single season in Canes history.
Yeah. And
with games to go.
And expected. It's like shorthand, he's on the ice. It's like, well, he's going to get one good look at it at least. And then Slavin picked up the assist and +1. Again, harder to understand what he does. Just know he's doing it. The 6-4 win over the Islanders is the one I want to focus on because it's more recent and because the way I described it is it has everything. Stanky and janky goals right out the gate. Just fun to say. It's actually janky and stanky if you want to go chronological order. Jarvis, shorthanded goal we talked about. That's awesome. Aho, power play goal, which felt needed and just fun to see, which another Taylor Hall power play point. An Orlov hammer, a Jarvis nail in the coffin goal, a lot of good. But it also had it was just the stereotypical Canes 2025 game because it also had the stereotypical bad things. A few soft goals let in by Kochetkov, a few really bad turnovers from the likes of Orlov and Kokeniemi and Burns, a couple bad penalties from Svetch. It checked all the boxes, both good and bad, and it came out a 6-4 win. And the reason why I wanted to stay on that one a little bit is you can have the good and the bad. You don't have to be perfect if aggregate, right? If the sum of all the parts adds up to a win, that's what I'm looking for. Right? Nobody is going to be perfect. You can make a bad decision. You can have an off night. You can have a quiet night for one of your stars if the team can pick you up. And that doesn't mean you have to win every game. You're not going to win every game. It's hockey. But the thing, and this is when the Canes, to me, it's almost part of the Canes' identity. If the other team's going to beat you, just make them play well. There's going to be games where you tip your cap and say, hey, we played well, you played better, you got us. Just don't do the thing where they walk in and go, I don't even know how we won that game. Right? Because if Kochetkov gives up an easy one, which he did, or Svetch gives up a bad penalty, which he did, but you also get a Jarvie shorthanded goal and a janky goal, it's like, all right, we're back to even, now we can play. Or vice versa, right? If you get a stanky and janky goal, that insulates you for 2 lesser plays. Trying not to be too harsh because it was a win. 2 lesser plays that all of a sudden it goes from 2-0, you're winning, to 2-2. Hey, you're still right there because you've been doing what you should. Take advantage of the power play. Taylor Hall doing a great job with that. But everybody else as well. Seth Jarvis talked about how it feels to have the power play be part of the win.
A lot of guys contributed. It's nice. Power play is still, we're still kind of hot right now, so we're figuring it out a little bit more. And just scoring in different ways, different lines. Obviously, Janko's goal to start us off was huge. And then, like you said, rolling from there, kicked in the ding-ding a little bit, but we figured it out.
As only Seth Jarvis can tell you. Power play as of late has been going, and I give so much of that credit to Taylor Hall.
4 straight games with a power play goal for the Carolina Hurricanes. 4 straight games.
We'll take that for sure. For sure. It's good to see Aho get one. Speaking of Aho, he talked about the chemistry between he and that guy you just heard, Seth Jarvis.
I've said it before. There's no really set plays on the PK. It's just Slavo knocks the puck down, and I end up getting it. And good talk by him. He's yelling time, and I have a time to turn and look. And obviously Jarvis flying out there in the neutral zone, and just kind of easy pass, and then he took over and took the rest and put the nice shot in the net.
I'll say it wasn't an easy pass, but for Sebastian Aho, he looks at the game different than a lot. Maybe an obvious pass, right, with a player, right there in a good position, but you still got to put it on him, and he did that. To me, the 3 games leading into the weekend and the weekend are so obviously the importance of winning solves everything. If you lose that game against the Islanders, I think there's a lot of yelling and screaming about a lot of things. Svech's penalties, probably chief amongst them. Kochetkov, who's getting some of it anyway, but it would be very, very loud if you lose that game. But because his teammates picked him up, they scored 6 of them things. All of a sudden, it's you can correct it in maybe peace, if that's a way, rather than correcting it in turmoil. You get to correct it on your own time. Burns did a lot of things that I think people would be getting really, really upset with, but you win the game and suddenly it's okay. All right. We'll talk about it, when it burns you. It's no pun intended. It is the definition of winning changes how you look at everything. Winning changes how you look at everything. There were even some power. Actually, the power play they scored on, I think, was they had some power plays where they created a bunch of chances, didn't score, and it was like, here we go again. The one that they scored on, I actually thought was one of their less buzzing power plays. So it's you get one, and everything changes, right? It's the definition of sports.
By the way, if you look at the last 15 games for the Canes, power plays is 15.4%. They're 8 of 52. The previous 15 games are 3 of 36, 8.3%. So, again, 15.4 still isn't great, but it's still pretty remarkable ahead of what it was. But even the penalty kill, as good as it was, the last 15 games, it's at 86%. Previous 15 games was 83. So it's getting better. And also just look at the last 15 games. Aho, 13 points on 8 goals, 5 assists. Jarvis, 13 points on 7 goals, 6 assists. Taylor Hall, 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points as well. And they're contributing in so many different ways. 12-3 in the last 15.
Top guys playing like top guys over the last 2.
Previous 15, 7-6-2.
They're still, they said it on the broadcast, I think it was 25th in power play percentage. At least that was going into yesterday's game.
Yeah.
They're better than that. Like the talent-wise, they're better than that. So
100%.
So that they should continue to drive that average up. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have one of my favorite segments. We get to hear from you. We have Monday Soundoff coming up, so get ready to dial in that number. I'll give it to you in a second. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. Have you ever noticed how many companies out there will advertise no closing cost loans, no closing cost rates? Mortgage lenders, mortgage brokers, what I'm talking about here. When the rates are low, then, no closing costs. But as soon as those rates climb up a little bit, you know what, never mind. No more of that. That's not how it works at Miller Lending. Rates are low, rates are high, rates are all-time high, all-time low. The no closing cost loan will be there for you to use, which means you can always have the flexibility to take advantage of a volatile market. If rates go up, lock it in with a no closing cost loan, which saves you money in your pocket, which will help ease the higher payments monthly that you're going to have to deal with because, timing is everything. If the market's high, the market's high. However, as soon as those rates drop, a half point, a point, right? It doesn't have to be monumental. Jump on with Miller Lending, refinance. Again, no closing costs, no costs and fees, nothing out of your pocket. You get that monthly payment lowered. It's all about being able to take advantage of what you can't predict. And anybody that tells you they can, I question that, right? Oh, the rates are going to do this next year. That's a good way to get yourself caught up. Instead, be prepared for your rates to do anything next year. That's what a no closing cost loan lets you do. Take advantage of volatile markets. The number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break when we come back. Monday, Soundoff. I promised you that number. You can call in now, 919-860-5326. If you have a Canes take, a Duke take, anything. If you want to sound off on something, hopefully sports related, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Monday, Soundoff coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there. If you ever need us, give us a call. Visit our website at newcombandcompany.com. As you always hear us say, your comfort is our business.
Celebrate 50 years of adventure at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Enjoy award-winning performances and European-inspired attractions. Feel the excitement of thrilling rides, like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge. There's fun for the whole family. From conquering first rides to exploring immersive lands, there's always something worth celebrating. Only at the world's most beautiful theme park. Buy Busch Gardens, get Water Country USA free on fun cards and select memberships. Hurry, offer ends soon. Restrictions apply.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Time is running out, folks. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com. Dennis Cox here for the Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Sign-ups last until April 6th. The bike will be given away on the final home game of the season. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Lob it to the left. Proctor has a step on Phylon to the paint. Off the window and in. The crafty moves of an upperclassman. And the lead back to 13.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for a Monday Soundoff. Heaster Automotive Group hotline is open for your calls. 919-860-5326 is Duke. The best Duke team we've ever seen. Are they the best in the country? Is it a disappointment if they lose? Canes, 12-3 on their last 15. Are they ready to win it all? Or whatever else you want to talk about. 919-860-5326 is the number to call. 919-860-5326. While you collect your thoughts and make the call, get in now. While you do that, here's 2 minutes of gold from our very own Adam Gold about the Canes over the weekend.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 points provided by two of Carolina's absolute best players, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Carolina's dynamic duo of Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. They provided 2 goals, including 2 absolute bangers. How about Jarvis shorthanded from Aho?
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the shot. He scores! Talk to me, Shorty. Another one for Seth Jarvis. His 5th shorthanded goal of the year. And the Canes go up 4-3.
And then late on in the third, with Carolina hanging on to a 5-4 lead, once again, backhand magic, the pass from Sebastian in front to Seth Jarvis, who had to fight through traffic to bang this one home.
Jarvis to Aho. Back across. He scores! Oh, my goodness! A masterful play between Aho and Jarvis. And it's 6-4 Carolina.
That one pretty much iced the game. Look, I don't know which one is Robin and which one is Batman. Probably should have mentioned Batman first. But at this point, these guys are 2 stars. Aho plays center, Jarvis is on his wing, and they absolutely share a brain to the point where we have almost forgotten Teuvo Teravainen. Not completely. We love Teuvo. But man, Jarvis and Aho have some synergy right now. How about these numbers? Jarvis has 29 goals. 11 of them, the primary assist goes to Aho. Now, maybe Jarvis should set up Sebastian a little bit more, because on Sebastian's 28 goals, Jarvis has the primary assist on only 6 of them. So selfish. So selfish. Just kidding. Aho, Jarvis together like peanut butter and jelly. Visit ParkwaySleep.com and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health. Sound off. For more Aho and Jarvis.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold. The details on the Canes over the weekend. Now, though, it is very much time for a little Monday Soundoff. 919-860-5326. Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for you. 919-860-5326. We have Dean in Rocky Mount. He's been waiting patiently, so we'll go to Dean first. Dean, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
I just wanted to real quickly give you guys your credit, because you guys call it the way you see it. You say it 100%. You're telling the truth. But there are a lot of people out here who are hating on the Wolfpack, not believing in the Wolfpack. They're not believing in Will Wade. They're not believing in NC State. And I just want to call them out because of how good the Will Wade hire is. He's going all over Raleigh, showing support, grading himself in the community. He's taking everybody to Immedios. They might be paying him how many people he's taking to Immedios, but everybody's going to Immedios. And you've got the national media. They're hating on us. They're hating on Will Wade. They're hating on NC State. They're hating on Boo Corrigan. But I just want to real quickly shout out you guys, because you always call it 100%. You always say the truth. And I want to shout out the Burnerverse for always believing in NC State, the best team in the country. Go Wolfpack.
Thank you very much, Dean. As always, appreciate you for cutting a promo on the show. I will ask Dean just one favor, and if you're gone, I know you're listening, so you can just hear it. I hope when State does something that we don't agree with, that you still bring that same kind of, you call it like you see it energy. Because I do like the Will Wade hire. I think it's a good one for State. I think it's going to boost the program. I think it's going to usher State into kind of more modern college basketball structures and funding. And I assume that's why you like the way we call it. And I hope that when we are maybe not as positive, that you like the way we call it as we seize it at that point as well. But appreciate it. And as always, you're welcome to jump on a Monday Soundoff, as is Malik in Raleigh and all of you. The phone number is 919-860-5326. Call in now with all of your takes. Malik and Raleigh, you are up next. Go ahead and sound off.
I just want to say one thing. God has made thousands of beautiful things. Brianna, the mountains, the beach, the canes, the Tar Heels. But the pollen is his worst creation ever. And what is going on out here? There's clouds of pollen. This is just crazy, and I'm over it.
All right, love the call. I have to be honest, I didn't know where that was going, but that you brought it home. So appreciate you for listening.
He's not wrong.
You know what? I'll mix the last two calls. If you bring in a recruit on this weekend into the Triangle, you have to be going like 51 out of 52 weeks. This is just the best place in the world. Right now, you're going to sneeze a lot. I don't know what you want to do. It's not here forever. Right now, it's going to sneeze a lot.
That's what you say. Well, the plan is at this time next year, we're not going to be here because we're going to be going to the Final Four. So don't worry about this. As if I'm, Hubert Davis or, Kevin Keats, or not Kevin Keats, Will Wade. You know what I mean?
Early in my career, I was driving a truck part-time, and I'd make deliveries to Syracuse. And there was right after like a gross snow, I was delivering to Syracuse, and I was going, how in the world does Jim Boeheim get recruits to choose this place? There's probably a little bit of that when you drive by and a gust of wind comes and that whole tree of pollen just wafts over your car. You got to be going like, how in the world? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, Monday Sound Off, open for your calls, 919-860-5326. Next up, we have Isaiah in Wake Forest, wants to sound off on some basketball topics. So, Isaiah, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Okay, thanks for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first I just got to say I agree so much with Malik. I have terrible pollen allergies, and it's killing me. I can barely go outside right now, and it's just sad. But
there's Blue Devil fans, Tar Heel fans, Wolfpack fans, fans of this, fans of that, all over the place, and everyone's like, "Oh, I think we can unite against the pollen." It is the unifying force. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead, keep sounding off on your take here.
Okay, the thing I just wanted to say real quick is first I just wanted to ask your opinion on where UNC stands going into the off season, UNC men's basketball, and if you have any opinions on whether or not Drake Powell and Ian Jackson will stay.
Okay, and go ahead. I'll answer both, but I'll take a note to make sure I hit that one.
Okay, and then the last thing I want to say is about the Charlotte Hornets, and I don't know why they're still playing Miles Bridges and Mark Williams at all, and I think they should pull every single player that gives them any chance of winning, lose both games to the Jazz, and cheer like crap for the Wizards because they need the number 1 seed, and if they get Cooper Flagg, they'll have a really good starting 5.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling in. I'll answer all of that kind of one at a time here for you. Where does UNC stand? This is a tough question to answer. How much money have they committed to Hubert Davis? Because I follow all the same. I follow Tipton Edits. I follow 247. I follow On3. Right, everybody that's tracking the portal. UNC is talking to a lot of the biggest targets in the portal. It's whether they land them that becomes the question, and you got to be in the ballpark financially, right? If BYU or someone else, Arizona, comes up with $700,000 for somebody, UNC might win with $600,000. I don't think they'll win with $150,000. You know what I mean? They got to be in the market. So I still think UNC's name matters. I still think they'll get players. Kind of how elite are they? Depends on how much they up the budget a little bit there.
I know you did ask about Ian Jackson and Drake Powell staying.
if they're not in the portal yet, like with every day, I start to think it's more likely that they stay because, other elite portal options are out there filling spots and talking to people. I think Drake Powell is almost like you better get him back because you dealt with some rookie jitters or some rookie growing pains, and I think he's going to be elite next year. Ian Jackson, that's a tough conversation on both sides. His playing time went way down the last month of the year. And if I'm Ian Jackson, I'm interviewing UNC as much as UNC is trying to convince me to come back, right? I'm going – I want to have opportunities to work on my game. And if I'm going to be on the bench watching somebody else, I'll go somewhere else. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but that's what it is. And the lastly, Hornets, tanking. Coaches and players don't tank. Front offices tank. Coaches and players – you don't get to the NBA without being a wildly competitive person. So unless the front office wants to come down and trade away all their good players, if they're healthy, they're going to be out there trying to win.
The Charlotte Hornets!
Just how it works.
I'm not going to lie. I hope that the Hornets do get the number 1 overall pick and Flag gets drafted by them. I would love it. That he stays here in the state. I would watch so many Hornets games.
As a Sixers fan, I hope that ends up with Philly. But that's hey, I think that if the right ball or the right lottery balls and the right losses, I think they could have like an 11% chance if things go their way down the stretch. I'm just saying, I've watched enough Cooper Flag to know I want him on the teams that I care about.
Plant the flag.
Yes. I saw somebody that said, how they always have like, tank for Tua, lose for Lawrence, capture the flag.
Yeah, capture the flag.
That's pretty good. Micah in Morrisville up next, and I know what Micah wants to talk about. It is a Monday Sound Off. Phone lines open for you to sound off. 919-860-5326. Sounding off means calling in, talking about whatever sport you want to talk about. You can make your stance. You can ask a question. You have the floor. Monday Sound Off, 919-860-5326. Micah in Morrisville, go ahead and sound off on the Carolina Hurricanes as I expect you want to.
On that pollen topic, though, one thing I will say is it is ending, which is going to be good because that means Canes playoff hockey is coming, but it also means the Panthers season getting closer, which means Dennis is going to be Matt Rule, and that is the most funny videos I've ever seen on Twitter. Like, I love those things. So pollen's almost over. But on the Canes, I will just say Adam Gold kind of took it from me, but Jarvis, I think he has to stay with Aho when Svetch gets 100%, carries back. None of the Jarvis with the stall line. That's enough of that. We just need to keep Jarvis and Aho going together 5-on-5 because if they get going in the playoffs, that's probably what we need to make a long run, honestly. That's what I got.
All right. Appreciate the call. We were talking about this off air, so thank you very much, Micah. It seems like the Canes, at least if I were Rod Brindamore, first thing I would do is a lot of push-ups. But then there are kind of pairs that I wouldn't mess with. Jankowski and Robinson are playing really well down there. Obviously, Stahl and Martinook, they're Stahl and Martinook. Aho and Jarvis, and then Kokeniemi and Hall. That's my non-negotiables. Who's the third on all of those lines? What I would, if I were Rod Brindamore, I would get my brain trust in a room and we would play, we'd get the magnets out and move them around and see how it looks and we'd do the whole thing. But those pairs, I think, are pretty darn good.
I asked Rod about it because I did Storm Watch for Adam on Friday before the game, before Friday's game. And I asked him about it, and I brought that same thing up. It's you have, pairs and stuff are going together. How much are you balancing making sure that you're winning on a game-by-game basis and still keeping the pedal to the floor, while also trying to figure it out for the postseason because there's a kind of a delicate balance in there. He's that's kind of the tough thing is just kind of figure out who's working with who, and we know some stuff that's clicking right now. Obviously, Jackson Blake is working well with Aho and Jarvis right now. I mean, again, Stankoven seems like he fits in well with Stahl and Martinook. I know Stahl missed his past game with a lower body injury, but he's playing well alongside those guys. Now the question is, does Svechnikov play well with Kokeniemi and with Taylor Hall? Mm-hmm. When William Carrier comes back, okay, well, who's the next one that's possibly going to be coming out of the lineup? Because Carrier's built for playoff hockey. he's going to be in the lineup. Who's going to be coming out? Is it Roslovic, which is a real possibility?
Yep.
So it is a balance that they have to strike, between now and the end of the year of still focusing on a day-to-day, but also getting themselves ready for late April through hopefully mid-June.
Yep. And they have 10 games left? 10 games to 9 games. I was rounding 9 games until they they have to have that answer kind of set in stone. So, and even that you can change once you get to the postseason. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Heister Automotive Group hotline open for your Monday sound-offs. Call in with your takes, your questions, your comments, all of it. We want to hear from you. 919-860-5326. It's the Heister Automotive Group hotline. 919-860-5326. Phone lines are opening up. But Ryan in Creedmoor is on the line right now. Ryan, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Doing very good.
All right. I'm a Carolina fan, long-time fan since the 80s, but I got to know what's your opinion. Do you think this Duke basketball team is better than the 91 Duke team to beat UNLV?
Ooh, asking a tough one. Well, actually, I have my answer, and I promise what you answer here won't change it. Do you think it is?
Honestly, I do because of Knippel's size, and Flag is 6'11", same height as Christian Laettner. So I think if you put that team versus, I think 25 will beat 91. I really do.
All right, appreciate the call. And by the way, call back in anytime. It's a great question. We're going to try to answer places in history later in the show. So thank you for the tease as well, teasing the rest of our show. If they were to play, I think 2025 wins. But part of that is just basketball gets better over 30 plus years, right? Part of that is just basketball continues to improve. As far as era related, you can't talk to me until there's a national championship hanging in the rafters.
Yeah.
And by the way, Grant Hill is nothing to sneeze at.
Laettner, Bobby Hurley,
Grant Hill, Christian Laettner are all college basketball Hall of Famers.
Kenny Blakely.
There's some dogs there. So as far as compared to your era and things like that, you got to wait till you win a national championship before you start challenging, others that have national championships, which is why I think if the 98-99 Duke team, the Elton Brand Duke team, won a national championship, they ended up getting upset, I think, by UConn. If they won a national championship, I think the question you're asking me right now is the 2025 team better than the 98-99 Duke team? But they didn't win a national championship, so they're rarely included in that, even though they might have been pound for pound the best. So it's, again, there's conversations there to be had. I'm not taking them over 91 until you get the natty. Is this Dean and Rocky Mount calling back in?
It is.
Dean and Rocky Mount said, wait, I'm not done yet. Phone lines are open, 919-860-5326 for your Monday sound-offs. Dean and Rocky Mount, go ahead and sound off.
Well, Tim, I heard there was nobody around. I had to jump back in on the Will Wade haters front. One of the people that I know personally called me the other day, and they told me to get off the radio. So, yes, the Will Wade haters went real. Saw it in the Instagram comments. But the main thing I wanted to call back and say, I'm so excited for minor league baseball to get back. I know, on Friday they had AAA start, but AA, high, and low A all start this Friday, including for me, my personal team, the Carolina Mudcats, in our final season in Zebulon. It's going to be a fun one. And right now I'm just blasting the Mudcats song they had in the 90s all throughout the house right now. It's going to be a really fun season. I, again, just want to give you guys your shout-out because you guys deserve it. You guys, everyone at the station does a really good job, and I just love what y'all do. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. By the way, just talking minor league baseball, tomorrow, if I have this right, let me make sure I pull the schedule up. Tomorrow is the home opener for the Durham Bulls, and we will be on location.
That we will be.
So we will be out there at Deep Bap Durham Bulls Athletic Park, getting ready as they take on Sugarland tomorrow at 6:35. So opening night, we'll be there. There's post-game fireworks, which is a cool deal. Baseball season, man. Home opener, baseball season. How can you not be romantic about baseball? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are nearing the end of our Monday Soundoff, so better call in quick, 919-860-5326. We have Joe in Raleigh on the line right now. He wants to sound off on Duke, so we will allow it. Joe, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
I got a Cooper Flag question, but
right.
I just want to start with, you cannot even closely rank any of the 90s teams, any of the 90s championship teams, including Duke, which is one of the greatest of all time, because what we're watching right now is glorified AAU high school basketball. These kids are all 16, 18, 20 years old. Like, we're not watching real basketball. And if somebody thinks that, oh, these guys are that great, it's called recency bias. They're looking at what they're looking at right now.
Wait a minute. If you're watching Auburn, you're watching a team that's older than any team in the 90s.
No, and that's fine. That's fine. But it's still – Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley would kill them. So would any of the UNC teams or any of the Big East teams back in the 80s or 90s. They actually played defense. They would have slowed the game down. They were all 4-year starters. So I have a Cooper Flag question. I don't want to argue this because it's not an argument. You guys are using recency bias. You're looking at what you're looking at right now. You're like, oh.
All right, well, you got to make an argument before you start arguing it. What's your take?
No, I just did make an argument. Those other teams are so great, and they're so, from a strategic perspective and fundamentals, those teams are way better than these other teams. These teams that are playing today.
So you you genuinely think if they were to meet up in a playground right now, the 91 team is winning?
Not even close. And Bobby Hurley would eat their lunch because he knows how to play defense, and he would slow the game down. He would do all those.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: if he knows how to play defense, who is he guarding in Duke's lineup? Keep in mind, Bobby Hurley is 6 feet tall.
But that's fine. Are you saying guys that are 6 feet tall now can't guard? They can.
They don't guard people that are 6'5" and above and going to play in the NBA.
Yeah. I disagree. It's almost like YMCA basketball now.
Who does he guard? You just said that his defense is going to be a difference. Who does he guard?
Or who would Grant Hill guard? I mean, who would the guy from Auburn guard? I'm just telling you, these guys would totally beat these new teams. These new teams are not even close. It's recency bias. So my Cooper Flag question is this.
Okay.
So is he going to will he get drafted next year? What's you guys' take on that?
Will he?
Well, no. He's going to get drafted. But what's he going to do in the NBA? What do you think as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old he's going to do? Is he going to be like Kobe?
Well, first of all, we're up against it, so I'm going to let you go. But I'll answer the question. Kobe didn't even start his rookie year. Came off the bench backing up an all-star. I think it was Nick Van Exel. Maybe Eddie Jones. So I think he'll be better than Kobe his rookie year because he's going to go to a franchise that absolutely stinks and is going to have the ball in his hand an absolute ton. So there'll be growing pains, but I firmly expect 15-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists. He's going to be a very, very good pro. And to say that we're going recency bias with Cooper Flag is, was it recency bias to say the 91 team was good because somebody else had watched the UCLA teams in the 60s and 70s? When you see something good, it can be good. It doesn't have to be only because you've seen it recently. Basketball gets better. That's just the way it is. There are certain great players that would be great in any era, but basketball and sports get better. Go watch the 100-meter track time. Are you like, oh, it's recency bias that you think Usain Bolt is the best? Jesse Owens was the best. And it's like, well, actually, we have times. Basketball doesn't have times, but evolution still works. Players get better. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Folks, Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. People, it's that time of year. We're approaching it. Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the action for the tournament at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with football at 4. We're looking at Panthers. We're looking at draft. It's almost April. It's almost draft month. Stick around.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Out for a Knipple 3. Give it to him.
From the first 4 to the national championship.
Maluach! Sit that one to New York City.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by WakeMed, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen. The average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. And it's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Expect a line of strong thunderstorms that could produce wind damage, isolated tornadoes, and hail, beginning at around 5 o'clock this evening and lasting until around 10 p.m. Once that moves out, we'll clear and temperatures will drop to 53 tonight. It's a quiet day tomorrow with sunny skies and less humidity, a high of 70.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 418 points to 42,002. Market update brought to you by Lufthansa. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. We have and we will continue to talk a lot about the Panthers and what they're going to do with that 8th overall pick. And I started my deep film today, and I can tell you, Jalen Walker, I'm much, much more excited about now than I was 6 hours ago. Edge rush or linebacker. I can be an edge, but linebacker from Georgia.
Defensive weapon.
But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about what they're going to do in the second round.
Ooh, let's get to round 2.
Round 2. They have, by the way, the 8th overall pick. They have the 25th pick of the second round. That's the 57th overall from the Rams. They also have the 10th pick of the third round. It's the 74th. Two fourth-rounders, 3 fifth-rounders, and a 7th. But we're focusing in on that 57th pick overall. The Rams' second-rounder that they received and kind of in the trade back last year. That kind of completes their draft. And I have to give you this. And do you know what, Panther fans? Let us know in the YouTube live stream comments if you even want to go this way. I think there will be wide receivers that'll be good values available. And I think you need wide receivers. And the reason why I say, do you even want to go down that path, is because the Panthers have a horrendous track record of drafting second-round wide receivers.
Not good lately.
Jonathan Mingo, 39th overall pick. That was in 2023. Terrace Marshall Jr., 59th overall pick, second rounder. That was in 2021. Curtis Samuel, the 40th overall pick. That was in 2017. Slightly better than the others, but still not what you're hoping for.
No.
If you want to go back even further, Dwayne Jarrett, Kerry Colbert. If you want to count Xavier Legette, I'd be open to it because you had the 33rd and you traded up one spot to go get him at 32. Technically a first rounder, but I'm not so sure if you would have sat at 33, you couldn't have snagged him. That's not exactly a track record of super-duper excitement. So to hear me come out and go, what should we do with the second? I think there's going to be some good wide receiver values available. If you recoiled a bit, I completely understand. Now, I'm also somebody that, I'm going to try to make the statistics argument real quick. And keep in mind, I did take 2 statistics classes in college and then got the heck out of business school.
That's fair.
So incomplete is my statistics knowledge. But, when you flip a coin, it lands heads, flip a coin, it lands heads, flip a coin, it lands heads, it feels like it should be more likely to land tails the next time. But in actuality, it's the next time you flip it, it's still 50-50. It's going to be heads or tails. That's kind of the way I'm looking at this, where it's like, if you draft a wide receiver in the second and it went horrible, draft a wide receiver in the second and it went horrible, draft a wide receiver in the second and it went horrible, part of you is going we're due. Part of you is going, why would we do that? Where obviously it always happens incorrectly. When in actuality, the percentages are the same, right? If you find and evaluate a good wide receiver and you draft them, this evaluation is not impacted by the previous evaluations. What Terrace Marshall did to hurt you can't affect Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Michael Golden or Matthew Golden if he falls, or Trey Harris, or any of the wide receivers who might be available in the second. Which, by the way, Mushin Muhammad was also a second rounder. Steve Smith Sr. was a third. So you go back a little bit further, you open up your mind, your brain a little bit more, it's not as bad. Here's what I think we have to decide when we're talking second round. Dan Morgan, the GM, in his first draft was aggressive. Last year was the first time he was the head guy. He was the head GM. He wasn't the assistant, wasn't the scout, wasn't the guy who you run stuff by. He was the guy who does the running. He was aggressive. Traded up into the first, as I mentioned. Even after trading back and getting the second rounder from the Rams, traded back up to go get Jonathan Brooks. So I wouldn't say it necessarily worked out. So the question is, what kind of person is Dan Morgan? Right? I expect there to be a reaction. Either, you know what? I'm going to sit and be patient and let the draft come to me because last year I went and got my guys. Didn't work out as good. Or the opposite. Or I'm a go-get-your-guy, and I'm going to double down on the strategy, and Jonathan Brooks, knee be darned. If I want somebody in the mid-second and I have the 57th pick, Sorry, let me make sure I had that right. Yeah, I have the 57th pick. Well, that's why I have an army of 4ths and 5ths, so I can go get it. That's what we have to decide. Because I think right at the top of the second, there's going to be edge rushers, borderline elite. Right? The ones that have the one fatal flaw. James Pierce Jr. seems to be falling for some reason. If he falls into the second, I can't imagine him lasting past the 35th pick. Mike Green, due to he's the edge rusher from Marshall. James Pierce, the edge rusher from Tennessee. If he falls due to some off-the-field concerns, I can't imagine he's there past the 35th pick. If you want those guys, you're going to have to go get them. Certain wide receivers, I think, might fall into the second, but not to the 59th pick. Does Dan Morgan say, that's the one, I want him, and I don't care about the price? Or does he say, you know what, let's be patient, it's a deep draft, somebody will be there for us. Somebody will be there at 59 that will have value, and we won't have to give anything up, and we can keep all those dart throws in the 4th and 5th to fill out a roster and build a stable of youth. That's what I think it comes down to. Because, like I said, right, and I've talked about this quite a bit, there are wide receivers that are impressive. Right? There's kind of this top 5 out there of, do we call Travis Hunter a wide receiver? What did we do there?
Yes.
Do we include him in what, like, is Tet McMillan and Emeka Egbuka fighting for the 2 spot or the 1 spot? This is literally
good question.
This is literally
good
just
question.
verbiage. It's just verbiage. Because either way, Travis Hunter will be drafted near the top 3-4.
I mean, he's a unicorn.
And then from there, Tet McMillan, Emeka Egbuka. There's some like Luther Burden out of Missouri, some like Matthew Golden out of Texas, some like Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. There's this bunch of wide receivers there that's good. I think there's going to be a couple that make it into the second round. So I'm almost like this, talking about what the Panthers are going to do in the second. If they take a wide receiver, I hope they trade up to get him. If they take an edge rusher, I kind of hope they sit and wait. Because I think there are enough edges to wait, and I think there are wide receivers that I tier break somewhere between the top of the second and the 59th pick. And if they're going off the beaten path, if they want to go, because what did Dan Morgan say, right? They're going best player available, offense, defense, didn't matter. If they go to a position that we don't expect them to go to, then obviously it's tough to predict, right? If they want to go, well, actually, you know what? If there's a safety, if there's Makuba from Texas, if there's Ransom, like whoever they like, if they go safety, I think there's a 59th pick could be a very good pick for a safety.
I'm wondering if, for example, Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame, is sitting there at like 47, 48, that they don't move up. I don't think they pick at 57. I think their prime spot to move up to that somewhere between 45 and 50 to move up, especially, again, Xavier Watts falls down, he might be your starting free safety.
Oh,
this
whoever,
upcoming season.
If they draft a second-round safety,
yeah,
I am – like maybe not Sharpie, but something in ink writing them into the starting lineup. Which, again, similarly, if you're drafting a starter, you don't want to. If you know whoever we're taking in the second is going to be our starting safety. If you take, say, an edge rusher or a wide receiver in the first, and you don't have a solution in free agency to safety, you might be saying, all right, our safety is a starter. Whoever we take next, you don't want that to be, well, it's our third favorite. Like you want it to be your guy. So I'm fine with going up to get that, assuming there's a tier break. As long as you're not looking at Watts, Makuba, and Castro from Iowa is another name people like. If you're looking at those three and saying, we kind of like them all, all have plus, they all have minus, but they're all good players, then I'm fine with sitting. But if there's one of those you like above the rest, go get them. And by the way, I think one of the 2 studs might fall into the second. Emanwari or Starks from Georgia, just because safety's not a premium position. If you can go get him at 34, I think there's a tier break after those 2.
Feels like Starks is the one that will slip into the second round, just because of the workout that even Wari put in. We just lit it up.
And Starks halfway through this season would have been above everybody at safety, so I'd be fine starting him.
Oh, 100%.
It's not like he was.
Absolutely.
Not like he was slow. He was, over a tenth of a second slower in the 40 than Eamon, but we're at 4.5 at 205 pounds, 207 pounds, whatever it was.
Let me pose this question to you.
I love it.
I asked Chris Lee this question on Panthers Playbook this past week, and it was really good discussion online about it.
We'll see if Chris and I align.
If you feel like there's a ton of depth at edge rusher in this draft, and hey, you know what? At 57, there's someone that was going to be available that we are going to like that we can plug in and play. And if you want a top-tier pass catcher, who's to say you don't draft Tyler Warren from Penn State at 8 and then go ahead and sit and wait in the second round, or even possibly move up a little bit in the second round to get an edge rusher? You're like, no, I'm going to get a top-end pass catcher that also can help me in the run game too at number 8. Like, what stops you from doing that?
Well, first of all, nothing stops me. And we talked about it on Friday a bit, saying if you want a true number one receiver, pass catcher, you might have to go tight end, because I think there's two that are good, and there's really not a top-end wide receiver in this class, at least not by my estimation, other than Travis Hunter. I would have to see – there's a few things about Tyler Warren that make me a bit nervous for drafting him for what the Panthers need. Doesn't run a super versatile route tree, and 1 year breakout. He had a bananas final year at Penn State. Before that, not a ton of production, and that makes me a little bit worried. When your team was bananas good and you went on the CFP run and you had 2 NFL running backs running down everyone's throats and all of these things, you broke out. 8 might be a little rich for my blood, is what I'm saying there. If I could trade back and get him at 16 and know that I'm getting him or Loveland, I'm more comfortable with that and might pick up some draft capital. 8 might be a little rich for either of them. But if you think the thing that's separating you from competing for a division is a number one pass catcher, somebody that you can build the offense around through the air, I like both tight ends more than I think I like every wide receiver not named Travis Hunter. And I don't even know if I should say wide receiver named Travis Hunter.
Unicorns.
Yeah, just that guy. But it's not. It's not a bad thought. And I do think there will be edge rushers available in the second. So being creative with the first. But last point, and I know we got to move on. I don't love letting the tail wag the dog, meaning I don't love my second-round pick deciding who I take with my first-round pick. I like it when the reverse happens, right? Let my elite player figure out what's solved, and then everything else can go in. Saying, I think we could get a starter in the second at this position prevents me from getting the best player available at 8. I'd rather it to be reversed. That's just kind of theory and philosophy, though. I know it doesn't always work out in practice. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for a bit of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, the watch bracket. For those of you that have not been paying attention, Bailey's Fine Jewelry and I have combined for a 16-team watch bracket, and you're looking at some of them over my shoulder if you are watching on YouTube right now. And the most recent round came to a close on Friday. There's Omegas still alive. There's Rolexes still advancing through the bracket. The madness, the chaos, the upsets have taken place, and we will continue throughout the week to make these selections. So what I need you to do is head to baileybox.com. You can actually drive out to one of the Bailey's Fine Jewelries, multiple locations. I would prefer the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop edition, and it's a Bailey's Fine Jewelry that has the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside in their Village District location in Raleigh. Go out, check it out, see the watches, because we're going to be looking for your opinions, your reactions to help us decide the bracket moving forward. The Rolex Daytona is going to be a favorite. The Omega the Omega Constellation is going to be a favorite. There's still so many good watches. Explorer 2. There's so many good watches going on. So what I need you to do is go to baileybox.com, pick out your favorite, and get ready for the bracket to advance tomorrow. We'll have more matchups in the Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and, of course, me with the decision-making power watch bracket coming up tomorrow right here on 99.9 The Fan during the drive. When you're out there trying on watches, make sure they know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge coming up and new segment. We're going winners and losers. Who won the last week? Who lost the last week? Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
As they say in the classic movie Star Wars, John Shire, you're our only hope. At least that's what the ACC is saying. Duke, though, the way they played defense leading into the Final Four, look out, San Antonio. And if there's one town that appreciates basketball and defense more than San Antonio, I'd like to know. Oh, wait, maybe it's Durham, North Carolina.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here at Coastal Credit Union 99.9 The Fan, and we're here to celebrate yet another Scholar Athlete. This month, we're at Middle Creek High School, where we celebrate our newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Kristen Norton.
My parents have always been there for me, and then my teammates, they really helped me with the mental part of it. So they really helped bring me up when I make mistakes or something and just keep me grounded.
She's just a great person. She's a great leader by example and also vocally.
She's just that type of person. It doesn't matter what the situation is, anything that can help the team. She's a great young lady.
It's amazing to have on the team. She's a really good role model and a leader on the team. She's always first to step in and try something new to help the team.
1, 2, 3, Mustang!
What does winning this award mean to you?
It just means that all my hard work has really shown. Some days I'm what have I done? What have I accomplished? But getting this was people have actually seen my improvements and my accomplishments. So it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Congratulations, Kristen.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning.
No, seriously. Shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Child abuse. It happens in all communities. Learning to spot the signs of abuse and knowing how to report it can save a child's life. Children's Advocacy Centers of North Carolina supports over 50 centers statewide, providing hope and healing to young victims of abuse, neglect, and trauma. Join us in the fight against child abuse. Visit cacnc.org to learn more. That's cacnc.org.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the shot. He scores! Talk to me, Shorty. Another one for Seth Jarvis. His 5th shorthanded goal of the year. And the Canes go up 4-3.
Talk to me, Shorty. Shout out to Mike Maniscalco, voice of the Canes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, this is your last chance to catch up in the ladder challenge.
Yeah, no.
Did you win over the weekend?
I did, actually.
You did. I did notice we had Victoria producing the show on Friday, but you did leave a bet. I think that's because you knew you only had 2 more chances, so you wanted to maximize your chances to catch up.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm banking on that you have to lose today.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to.
And you'd have to get it right, or else we tie.
Yeah, that we would. Then we'll just do like a one shot.
No, I think we'd skins it.
Okay, just call it even?
You get 2 for the next month.
Oh, okay.
Like it rolls over.
Okay.
Either way. So here's what happened over the weekend. I did win my ladder challenge. I had Purdue plus 20.5 against Houston because they were a big underdog, and I teased it all the way down to plus 20.5.
Okay.
They lost by 2. So
all right.
Covered by about 18.
Felt good.
Yeah, no sweat there. Turned my $46.44 into $51.48 with one more day to go. And guess what I'm doing here?
What's that?
This is because I don't learn my lesson, and I still taunt gambling gods. Because I know if I get this one right, I win. Right? Dennis, I'm going full Dennis.
No.
Back at Dennis.
Oh.
Colorado Avalanche versus Calgary Flames. Over 3.5 goals scored tonight. It is minus 725. It would turn my $51.48 to $58.58. All I need is 4 combined goals from the Avs and the Flames, and I'm hoping to it's like the I'm trying to like wrestle the sword away from you, and then use it to win the fight. I'm trying to use your own weapon against you.
Trying to beat me at my own game.
Exactly.
Okay, that's very admirable.
You're very, I don't even know. Hopefully, you're very losing.
Well, I'm actually taking the Dallas Stars plus 2.5 goals against the Seattle Kraken tonight. So I have $18.60. That's going to turn into $21.11. It's a minus 725.
I was hoping there was a possibility that we would end up on the same bet, and that would guarantee me either a tie or a win.
I looked at that game. I'm not going to lie. I looked at that game.
Thought I might pull it off. Either way, if the Avalanche and Flames combine for 4, then the trophy is coming back to its rightful owner here in the host studio. If it doesn't, and if I don't win and Dennis does, then it stays in the producer's studio.
So Colorado wins 2-1 tonight? Is that what you're telling me?
That could happen.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Watch Nate score both goals, and that's all they score.
I was going to say,
it's 2-1 win.
If I'll go back to a little Marty. If he wants to score the goal to put me over, I'll celebrate Martin Necas. I got no ill will. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's our ladder challenge for today. We'll check back in tomorrow to see who won March. Right now, let's try a new segment here. It's very simple. I try to keep it simple because we need it that way for us. Winners and losers. Mm-hmm. Over the last week, who's a winner, who's a loser? And we have a bunch of them. And you can send them in to us if you want to. You can send them in on our 99.9 The Fan YouTube channel. And the YouTube live stream in the comments. You can send them to us on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. I'll monitor it throughout the segment. At DONNELLY Sports. Just who's winning and who's losing. Can't be more simple than that. Ready for my first one? Winner, number 1 seeds. And fans of great basketball. These are the 4 teams that are still playing in the NCAA tournament are some of the best teams of the last few years. Not even just this year. These are some of the best teams of the last half decade in college basketball. So I understand the urge to want to complain about we didn't get any excitement in the first couple of weekends. There were no gigantic upsets. Where's my Cinderella? But the payoff for not having that early on is Final Four and championship should just be super high-level basketball. Super talented teams. Because, no offense, sometimes, Cinderella escapes their way to the Final Four. They show up, they get beat by 1 billion, and that game's no fun. So this one, there still might be beat by 1 billion, don't get me wrong. But you know that blowout win is earned because it's up against another super high-quality team. So my first winner, number 1 seeds and fans of high-level quality college basketball. My first loser, and I don't want to be mean, but you got to let the facts and the results speak for themselves. Pyotr Kochetkov.
Oh,
I wanted and I've argued for him to be the number 1 in-net goalie during the postseason. The last 3 games he's been in net with 9 games to play, it becomes really difficult to make that argument with the way Freddie's playing. And, timing is everything. If you would have done that a month ago, it would have been really easy to make Pyotr Kochetkov your number 1 in goal. If the season ended 3 weeks ago, I think it would have been easy. But the way it stands right now, he's given back a lot of that ground. And I just feel for the young man. Feel for the 25-year-old in net, 26-year-old, whatever he is. So, losers, Pyotr Kochetkov. Dennis, do you have something you'd like to add?
College basketball.
As a winner or a loser?
As a winner. And I say this as March Madness. This is actually leading up into this past weekend.
Okay.
March Madness TV ratings, 32-year high. a 32-year high in TV ratings for March Madness.
Wow.
This year.
And people take that. Everybody that says live sports are going away, take that.
Well, it's not only that, but it's also
that transfer portal is ruining college basketball.
It's that. It's like, there's no Cinderellas, no big upsets, yet people are watching. Yet people are still watching. That's the thing that stands out to me. People are actually watching it even more. Maybe part of it has to do with sports betting. People are like a little bit more invested into actually watching games. But guess what? More eyeballs on the product, and that's what matters most.
I think it's a bit, if I were to name this theory, it would be like the pop music theory. Right? When you have like a cheesy popcorn bubblegum pop song, and it's so cool for everybody to say, I never listened to that. Oh, no, that's stupid. But then it's like number one on Billboard for 37 weeks. It's like, well, somebody is listening to it. It's the same thing. Like, I hate NIL in the transfer portal. I like the way it used to be. But then when you just are watching really good basketball games because the good players have condensed onto certain teams, it's like, you know what? It's actually kind of fun to watch, and I'm really enjoying myself. Chef Wolf on Twitter sent me in a winner for the winners and losers segment, which is one way you can do it. Send them in at Donnelly Sports on Twitter. Chef Wolf says Paige Beckers.
UConn.
She had actually, Gino Auriemma benched her in a game, right? Said she was playing defense horrendously. There was, I watched the Sports Center highlights. I didn't watch the whole game, but there were a few times she probably should have got a hand up on defense, and she just didn't. Coach gave her the business, put her on the bench, yelled at her a little bit. She went in and scored 40. And even after the game, Gino Auriemma was like, yeah, I mean, she played great, but we need her defense. It was just like, what do you do when someone goes out there and scores 42 and you're just like, she needs to get a hand up on defense? It's hard to really bash her too aggressively. But yes, you can submit your winners and losers on Twitter at Donnelly Sports on Twitter. I'll give you some more. I've got a winner here.
Okay.
Deion Sanders.
Oh, Deion, eh?
And all former players that want to coach. Did you see Deion's extension?
It's like 50-something million, right?
5 years, $54 million. Deion in Colorado runs through the 2029 season, makes him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. This is him without, Shedeur is gone. Travis Hunter is gone. He has some stability there to go find the next those guys. And if you're a former player that wants to coach, you're seeing it pop up around and around. It really helps when guys like Deion Sanders work because you're more likely to get a chance. A loser? I've got a loser for you. This one's a big loser for me. This guy earned a lot of loser points. Kevin Willard, the head coach at Maryland that botched that entire deal and then took the Villanova job. And you know what? Secondary loser? Villanova. Villanova should have pulled the offer as soon as they saw how horrendously Kevin Willard handled the Maryland situation and gone, you know what? We were hiring you to be the CEO of our basketball program, and we just saw you absolutely botch a CEO situation. So, you know what? Never mind. I hate what happened for the Maryland players. They had an opportunity to make the Final Four. They were that good. And their coach completely upended it by just being, to use the term of a caller a while ago, a jackwagon. Very upset for the Maryland players. So Kevin Willard, loser.
One final one. Loser. Big Ten basketball. Another year you're not winning a national championship. Get out of here. Big Ten basketball. Oh, they're so good. No, they're not.
Hey, would you rather have... This is actually this and winners and losers because this can lead us into our next deal here. This year's Duke team is playing for history, right? If they win a national championship, they go into arguments for best team ever and all those sorts of things, and definitely best Duke team ever. As a conference, would you rather have 8 teams make the tournament, none make the Final Four, or 4 teams make the tournament, all except for one eliminated by the round of 32. So none of them make it out of the first round, aside from one. But that team goes on to be maybe one of the greatest teams of all time. Which would you rather have?
That's tough.
It is, right? Because it's
really
strength
tough.
and depth of your conference against the one trophy fish that you get to talk trash for the rest of time.
Yeah, if you're looking at the conference as a whole, you're going to say, well, you're just one team.
Yep.
Whereas,
You're
hey, look how
East.
good we are.
You're UConn and.
Yeah. That's tough, actually.
Right,
that's really, really tough.
Well, think about it. I'll come back to you. I will come back to you. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis is telling me we have a caller. I'm not seeing who do we have. And
this is Corey from Wendell. He actually was on hold when we were doing Monday Soundoff, and I told him to call back since we weren't able to get to him.
Perfect.
But he actually leads into our next topic regarding basketball.
All right, Corey and Wendell, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and ask your question or make your comment.
Hey, Tim, thanks so much for having me. A quick question about Duke, and I'll say this as a Tar Heel fan. It hurts me to say it, but this is one of the best Duke teams I've ever seen. I'm pushing 40, and their weapons are just tremendous. But I also have begged the question to ask, if they do not win the championship, is this a bust because they're losing everybody and they're going to have to deal with a whole new team next year? If they don't win, is it a bust? And I also wanted to sound off on Elliot Cadeau and Carolina and him entering the portal. I love Elliot, and it kind of hurts me to see him go, but at the same time, I'm kind of relieved because I feel like we could do better with a guard that's 6'3", 6'4", with some of the same talents. And I think the hype about Carolina kind of falling off is a little overbearing because over the last 15 years we're good, man. I think as a Tar Heel fan, I think we're going to be good. We'll figure it out. But I think as far as he's concerned, Hubert Davis made some comments on his show that he has to make sure he finds players that can handle the light of playing at a place like Carolina. And I think he was kind of hinting toward Kay Tyson and Elliott. Want to see what you think.
I first of all, appreciate the call. Two great questions. I'll go UNC first and then come back to the Duke question. I don't know if he was speaking to someone specifically as much as – because for those of you that didn't hear, Hubert Davis did say, we need to – when we're looking for players in the portal or in high school, we need to find players that are – essentially capable of handling the spotlight that comes with playing at UNC. I think what he was more doing is adding that they may not have included that in their evaluations enough under Hubert Davis because it does take some special, right? It takes a little extra confidence, a little extra swag. I don't know whatever word you want to use to go to one of these blue bloods where if you go 1 for 9 in a game, message boards are going to light up about how you need to not play and and then when you go 8 for 9 in a game, the message boards are going to light up with how you're the best thing since sliced bread. You have to be able to ride that roller coaster. And I think it was just Hubert Davis saying we need to find a more efficient or more accurate way to judge which of those guys, which recruits and which transfers are ones that can handle that. I actually think he went out of his way to make sure he wasn't throwing any one player under the bus as far as unlike when we completely missed when we were recruiting so-and-so that he was going to be so soft. He wasn't, he went out of his way to not do that, more just kind of speaking in generalities. But I also think, you can, as far as Cadeau's leaving, he's a good player, but we might get better. That is what I think is the most under talked about thing in the portal. There are, and I am not, this is not an exaggeration, so many gosh darn good basketball players in the transfer portal that almost no matter who you lose, your team can get better. It is very much what? This guy hit the portal? Huh? And I'm just going, wait. Let's see what they do. Because nobody complains about their team getting better. You might complain, losing a player, I like that guy, but if they bring in 2 players better, nobody complains about their team getting better. So just give them time. There'll be plenty of time once the portal the carousel stops turning to yell and scream about how bad it is and how mad you are that you lost Jalen Washington and Elliot Cadeau. But if they replace them with studs, I don't think there'll be much complaining. So give them time. Let's see what works. The other question, is Duke this season a bust if they don't win the championship? Bust? No. I think you can't have a Final Four bust. I just don't imagine that as possible. No matter how highfalutin you are with your opinion of your program, it's hard to make a Final Four. And the tournament is random enough that some of the best teams of all time didn't make a Final Four. So you make a Final Four, it's not a bust. I will say winning the national championship for Duke opens up a whole other conversation. So it does put if they don't win the national championship, it puts a cap on how history will look at them. That does not mean it puts any kind of negative, Jon Scheyer's coached 3 years. He's gotten better each year. They've been a better seed each year. They've made it further in the tournament each year. Making it to a Final Four in your third year as coach is impressive enough. I do not think there is bust attached to anything this Duke season from this point forward. However, this could be, and as a UNC fan, this probably won't sound good to you, this could be one of the most important years in Duke history. This would be the arrival of Jon Scheyer announcement, right? Like, there has been a changing of power. It is no longer the Coach K Blue Devils. It is now Jon Scheyer's. And that comes with a lot of messages, right? Talk is cheap. Actions are real. If they win the national title, what is that saying? You can still come to Duke and win a national title. It is not different now that Coach K lost. You can still come to Duke and be a lottery pick. I know, Derek Lively was the 12th pick playing for Jon Scheyer. That's right at the end of the lottery. You put 3 guys in the lottery, which I think they will. I mean, that's saying something. You can come here with other lottery picks, and we'll still develop you into a top level. You won't share the spotlight so much that you don't get your shine. You can still, and the opposite is true too. Look at Tyrese Proctor. You come to Duke and you don't immediately leave to go be a lottery pick. There's still a place for you to develop into a better player and have your moment. I think that ended up being the problem with some Kentucky teams under Calipari, where it was the Harrison twins didn't immediately turn pro, and everybody was like, ooh, what do we do with sophomores? We kind of got 5 stars expecting to play here, and we don't know how to develop guys year over year. We just bring in 5 stars, and hopefully they win titles and go play pro. Duke's shown hey, if you show up and it doesn't go perfectly, we can make it work. Or the opposite. You can pick Duke out of a portal, play a key role, and have the ride of your life. Winning a national title says a lot. And to put it in historical terms, for those of you that have followed ACC triangle basketball for a long time, I think this year, in a very modern sense, could be like this year is to Jon Scheyer what the 1982 recruiting class was to Coach K. And the 1982 recruiting class was Billis and Dawkins and Henderson and Allery and that group, which made its first Final Four. And I think they're still the highest scoring single recruiting class by a school maybe ever. And that's probably not going to be broken because guys don't stick around long enough, 4 of them, to all play at the same school and score a bunch of points. But basically what that did was it legitimized everything, right? It legitimized Coach K. That class made it so the Leitners and everything went to Duke because it was cool, right? Now Jon Scheyer with Cooper Flagg and Kaman Malawash and that whole squad, when they're getting drafted and if they win a national title and they kind of check every box on their college career, that legitimizes Jon Scheyer in a way that he hadn't been yet. So, is it a bust if they don't win? No. It's a Final Four, right? I don't care how proud your program is. You hang Final Four banners, and they don't come down. But the difference between losing in the Final Four to Houston and winning it all, there is a massive gap there as far as the messages you'd be sending to the rest of the college basketball world. Massive gap. A lot on the line. Should be really, really fun, by the way. That Houston game is going to be fascinating, and we'll talk about it more as we get on in the week.
By the way, Kelvin Sampson, North Carolinian.
He's. I saw someone that said he got his first college basketball job may have been before Jon Scheyer was born. Something along those lines, where he was coaching at Montana Tech or something like that, and Jon Scheyer was just a twinkle in his parents' eye.
Yeah, he was an assistant. He was a graduate assistant at Michigan State in 79-80, and then Montana Tech in 80-81. Jon Scheyer is about a year younger than me. So,
there you go. There you go, everybody. That's hilarious. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll talk more about, obviously, the Duke games as they get closer to the Final Four. But before we move on and dive further into Pyotr Kochetkov in net, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Big weekend coming up. including Sunday, April 6th. That is your deadline to go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, York Carolina Hurricanes, they've teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a Caniacs motorcycle, but this year it's a custom Caniacs motorcycle, and the deadline is this Sunday, folks. This Sunday, April 6th. Enter now. If you've been thinking about it, maybe you've been putting it off, don't wait any longer. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike. I've seen the bike in person. I've posted it on social media a few times because I've seen it multiple times. It's absolutely gorgeous. I was riding around on my motorcycle this weekend through all the pollen, but was still having an absolutely great time. I was like, you know what? I even thought about, imagine if this was that custom Caniacs motorcycle that they're giving away. How cool would that be? Especially after a win. Would have loved it. That could be you. Just go to caniacsbike.com. Deadline is April 6th. That is this Sunday. Enter now. Bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the season. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. How much have the last 3 games for Pyotr Kochetkov changed the way you look at him for the rest of this year in the postseason? That question, next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Hey, I know Cooper Flagg didn't win all of the awards. He won the 2 major ones. He got Player of the Year. He got Rookie of the Year. Neither were unanimous, which blows my mind. But he should have won Defensive Player of the Year as well. And John Shire was the Coach of the Year. Yes, I know Duke has all these great players. They were 19-1. They were 28-3. Historical point differential. Come on.
The Adam Gold Show, weekday starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. And it's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
Out in front, Cizikas with a try, and Kochetkov flashes the pad. Cizikas trying to center this one. Cannot find Hudson Fashing's stick. That offering goes wide. This shot deflected out in front. Walker will get to it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Constantly putting out all the content, local sports content you're looking for, assuming you're looking for the Triangle Colleges, the Carolina Hurricanes, Carolina Panthers, right, the local teams. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. And earlier today, we played a game of winners and losers, and I encouraged you to comment on the YouTube live stream with your winners and losers. Some of you have, so want to make sure we reward you for doing so. Dennis, what are they saying online?
Micah said loser, NBA, way more eyes on college basketball. It's not even close right now. Also winner, Jacob Slavin. That dude just crushes, basically is what he said. Also, Jay said winner, Eric Tulsky. Taylor Hall's on a heater. Janky and Stanky both scored last night. Jarvis contract already looking like one of the NHL's best.
Yes. First of all, I did read an article, I forget who wrote it, about how like all the doom and gloom about the NBA ratings back in whatever, like a couple months ago, turned out to be, I don't know, it's all evened out and they're actually not doing bad, maybe even a little up year over year. So I don't know what's true there, but I do think narratives, can get skewed. What else? Oh, it's Jacob Slavin. I mean, yes. Who's the real winner? Jacob Slavin or us for getting to watch and enjoy? Or more importantly, who's the real winner? The guys that turn it over at mid-ice and have Slavin save them, or is Slavin the winner for having to save them? And then lastly, Tulsky. Yes, except I don't want to just name him a winner because like Janky and Stanky are scoring and Taylor Hall's playing well. Because if they weren't playing well through this small sample size, I wouldn't want to have made him a loser, right? If it's like, oh, Taylor Hall not scoring on the power play through 7 games, I wouldn't be like, oh, Tulsky messed up. So I just to be respectful of that, I feel like we can't go too hard the other way. But you're darn right, the Jarvis deal. I mean, I think we've been on the great deal, especially with the deferred money element, like great deal from the moment that thing was signed. So whoever was the driver for that, if that was Tulsky, way to go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of Eric Tulsky and Rod Brindamore and the Canes brass, how much do you think the Pyotr Kochetkov recent 3-game – can we call it a skid? Can we call it a skid? A 3-game skid?
Yeah. A little bit of a slump.
How much does that change your plans for the last 9 games of the season and more importantly, the postseason? Because, like, to put it nicely – goalie form matters, right? Having a hot goaltender matters, and the reverse matters. This is the last 3 games for Pyotr Kochetkov have not been typical Kochetkov brain lapses, right? When Kochetkov is being overly aggressive, when he's being overly skittish, when he makes a kind of wild and crazy play and it costs him a goal, I get frustrated, but I get it because you can't get the great Kochetkov without the crazy-eyed Kochetkov occasionally. I understand it. The last 3 games have kind of just been soft goals. And that concerns me a lot more. And it does make me wonder, and Dennis, I know we had this conversation, so it's a little bit you get like, actually I'll ask you, what did that 7-2 loss to the Kings 3 starts ago, what did that do to Pyotr Kochetkov?
I don't know if it was just kind of lost some of the confidence. I'm not entirely sure because that was just a bad game really as a whole, I thought, by the team. And he just, because you have a back-to-back, Freddie Anderson's going the next day, so you don't want to pull Kochetkov and throw Freddie in there. So unfortunately, Kochetkov just has to wear it. I don't know if that just messed with his confidence a little bit. I don't know. The 5 or 6, 7 games before that, he was playing great.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of a season, but also it's the ups and downs, ebbs and flows you get with Kochetkov. His high end is awesome, but you unfortunately do hit some skids.
I've been on the give Pyotr the net in the playoffs and see what he does with it train for a long time because of what you said. When his good is really good, and we've seen Freddie in the postseason quite a bit, and we kind of know what that is. It's not bad. We just know what it is, and I think there might be another level of Kochetkov. But if the season ended today, I couldn't make that argument, right? With the way Freddie is playing and the way Pyotr Kochetkov has played the last three, I couldn't realistically jump into a microphone and go, I still want to see Pyotr. But I, like, with 9 games to go, if they keep doing the 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, what is that? 4 more starts? If he plays solid for 4 more, does that change a bunch? It's unfortunately just awful timing to have a bad stretch of games. If he did this in December and then just, got back on track and kept rolling, we wouldn't even be really talking about it at this point. It would be, eye of the beholder. Who do you like more? What style do you like more? Do you like veteranship? Do you like the aggressiveness? Those would be the conversations we're having. I can't even genuinely have those conversations right now unless we see Pyotr kind of go lights out for, 3 or 4 games now that he gets the rest of the way. Like, it had to be, and I understand people have questioned me on this. I understand it's not usual, but I like to, right, I like to treat the playoffs like any other game, with the acknowledgement that they're not. Like, with the acknowledgement that it is more physical, with the acknowledgement that it is more intense, with the acknowledgement that a 7-game series against the same team becomes a really interesting chess match. Like, with all of that built in, I don't like to change a lot of what you did well in the regular season when you get to the postseason. So if they were playing lights out and, I don't know, maybe won 12 of their last 15 games, going Freddie Andersen, Pyotr Kochetkov, Freddie Andersen, Pyotr Kochetkov, Freddie Andersen, Pyotr Kochetkov. Then when they got to the postseason, I understand that's not usual, it's not traditional. I would kind of want to stay with the 1-1-1 rotation. I don't know. I don't know. I want to so desperately dig my heels in on that take, but watching, just the first goal, right? Canes take a 2-0 lead on yesterday, and I'm going like, look at this. Cooking, Stanky, Janky, we got goals. That's Stankoven and Jankowski, we got goals. And then there's I don't want to say a relatively routine, but there's you got a 2-0 lead, you face a 2-on-1. Gostisbehere does his job, takes away the pass. There's nothing in your way. You see it the whole way. Pyotr Kochetkov sees the shot coming, and it just, he gives up kind of a fat part of the goal. I'm looking at it and going, man, I wish that didn't happen. Right? The just the optics. I wish that had to be a better shot, because I understand goalies get beat. You just hope it looks like it was a shot worthy of a goal. I'm not throwing completely away the idea that Pyotr can be an asset and everything I want him to be in the postseason, but I am acknowledging that, for everyone that's been yelling I'm too far in the Pyotr Kochetkov bandwagon, I'm just preparing you that you might call me a flip-flopper, because I might not be calling for Pyotr when the postseason starts, simply because I think form matters. It's like being a relief pitcher in baseball or something. It's a couple of bad outings and all of a sudden your confidence wanes, and it's impossible for the manager's confidence in you not to wane. We like, with a relief pitcher, you can at least go, all right, we're going to get you a couple, when we're up 6, we're going to have you go out there and take 3 outs just to get back in rhythm. There's really not that for a goalie at this point in the year, unless you clinch stuff and you have a game or two at the end that, you're not really in the mix for anything, and you just play Pyotr Kochetkov to let him roll.
So here's the kicker. Over let's say the last 4 starts that Kochetkov makes. What if he does? Like, what if it's just, hey, this is just a little 3-game skid, and then the next 4 games he's playing great?
If it's great, I'm in. Then I'm back to 1-1-1-1. If it's, I think it's great.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to talk myself into it being great, I then it's almost like you roll with Freddie. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dennis. I would roll with Freddie until there's, because there'll be a game in the postseason where Freddie's played enough. It's a long deal, whatever, long series. You have to roll with Pyotr. If he goes in and plays well, then you can entertain some more opportunities. But like the dichotomy of it is, Freddie is playing really well.
He is. But that's regular season Freddie.
And it's
postseason Freddie's been different.
And it's well rested Freddie, because he gets to turn his brain off every other game. It's not easy. I don't envy the decision-making of Rod Brind'Amour for who's going to be in net the next 9 games and the postseason. Because how much chance do you get? How do you get Kochetkov back in the running, back kind of on a roll? Do you give him a reset? Do you not? Like, there's so many questions to answer. And I don't think there's like hey, there's the right answer. This isn't, math. It's not like the correct answer is 47. It's much more like essay open-ended. Like, all right, well, tell me why you made the decision. And if you have good reasoning, we'll at least give you partial credit. Like, there's a lot going on there. Which, again, we have 9 games to figure it out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and we have a few minutes before we figure out the starting 5. An all-time great on the precipice of history. Will it happen in our backyard? Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the post-game mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Experience the excitement and wonder of Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Water Country, USA. Enjoy award-winning entertainment and world-class thrills at the world's most beautiful theme park. Like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge, opening spring, and splash into endless adventure at Virginia's largest water park, featuring the all-new High Tide Harbor. 2 parks, twice the fun. Buy Busch Gardens, get Water Country USA free on fun cards and select memberships. Hurry, offer ends soon. Restrictions apply.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers the most important high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsor, First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We have showers and storms in our forecast this evening. The timing roughly between 6 and 10. There could be some lingering past that, but not expected to be severe. 52 the low. Sunshine, less humid tomorrow. 71 the high.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell this afternoon, up 417 points to 42,001.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Monday, everybody. Tim Donnelly here. Dennis Cox producing the show as always. And as always, at 5, it is time for the starting five.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Strome back for Carlson. One touch between he and Ovechkin. Now Ovechkin tees it up. He scores on the power play like he's done so many times before, and we're tied at 1.
As close to an unstoppable shot as you will see.
Alexander Ovechkin, in his 1,483 career games, has 890 career goals. That puts him within 5 of Wayne Gretzky's career goals record.
5 to break it.
5 to break.
894.
Yes, there you go. They play, meaning Ovechkin's Capitals, play at Carolina on Wednesday. 4 goals. Dennis, tell me it can happen.
It can happen.
Tell me we can see some history.
We could. And possibly a tie, because the Washington Capitals play at Boston on Tuesday.
Okay.
Boston stinks.
All right.
So he could easily pot a couple goals on Tuesday and then bring that over to Wednesday.
The ideal is you see history and a Canes win. That's the ideal.
I mean, of course.
That's the ideal.
Absolutely.
Just appreciate greatness, man. Just appreciate greatness. It's one of the things I try to repeat to myself often in sports, because sometimes you get caught up, just not even overanalyzing, but just so caught up in like the this player needs to do this and this player needs to do that, and like an all-time great could come through your city and do something fantastic, and you were too busy arguing about who's going to be the fourth line right winger for your own squad to notice, like, even if it's not 894 or 895, you can see 892. That's pretty darn cool. That's it's still history. It's still Alexander Ovechkin. It's still if you go and look at his stats page, I mean, he's played 20 seasons or whatever it is. He's led the league in goal scoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And how old is he? He's 39. He's up there with like Brent Burns, right? He's not going to be playing forever. So if you want to be able to tell your kids you saw him win, your grandkids you saw him win,
yeah,
could be one of your last chances to see him here in Carolina.
I mean, this record's been sitting around for a long, long time.
And I don't want to downplay what Ovechkin's doing. I just said appreciate greatness. Do you know what else it does when you see Ovechkin getting ready to break this record? It does emphasize how holy cow Wayne Gretzky was. Because you see things like, well, if he keeps playing for another 3 centuries, he'll make an attack at the all-time points record that Gretzky holds. You can take away all the goals Gretzky scored, and he still has more points than Ovechkin. It's I mean, I don't have to say it. It just emphasizes the Gretzky element of it all. Anything you'd like to add?
No, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and jump from number 5 to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
I feel great about playing football right now.
We do have some football news we want to give you, but I have a little quick addendum to number 4 today. Starting 5, number 4. Today is my son Miles' birthday. He is turning 4 years old.
Hey, look at that.
Miles, if you are listening out there, happy birthday, buddy. He got a little slot car racetrack this morning.
Go on.
Woke up, walked downstairs, got to immediately jump on the controls. First thing he does, floor it, send it out onto the floor. Right off the track, right at the first turn.
Well, my birthday's in June.
There you go.
Just want to let you know.
It is, birthdays are cool for kids, and I'm very excited to celebrate when I get home with Miles. So, Miles, happy birthday, buddy. We got stuff happening tonight. With that being said, We do have a football item for number 4 as well as we move on from Miles' birthday, but we'll get back to it later tonight, bud. Frank Reich is the interim coach at Stanford.
Frank Reich?
That Frank Reich. So Frank Reich, former Panthers coach, former Colts coach, former Panthers quarterback, former Bills quarterback, former everybody quarterback, former Maryland quarterback. Frank Reich, the interim head coach at Stanford. Stanford fired their coach Troy Taylor due to some workplace complaints and had been looking for a handful of days for their next coach. Shout out to Graham Hill, produces Next Up with Paul Ihander every morning here on 99.9 The Fan. He immediately goes, so the Panthers coach is just minor leagues for college coaches. Is that what's happening here? Matt Rule takes over Nebraska. Frank Reich takes over Stanford. It's just, hey, once you make it to the NFL with the Panthers, it's just a couple years away from, leading a premier college football program. I think this one's different than that, obviously. Matt Rule, Frank Reich, not the same situation. It is funny, though. Here's the element of it. Andrew Luck. I think he owed Frank Reich a solid. I don't know if everybody remembers this. Frank Reich was the Colts coach with Andrew Luck for 1 year, right? And if you are Andrew Luck's coach in the NFL, you build your entire future around Andrew Luck. And then halfway through the preseason of the next year, Andrew Luck retired, which put Frank Reich in a very difficult situation. Thankfully for him, Jacoby Brissett stuck around and did solid as a starter. This feels like Andrew Luck going like, hey, you know what? You need to rehab yourself a little bit. You need to get back in the coaching world, cleanse yourself of the Panthers. Well, I owe you one. Why don't you come in, be the interim coach? Because Andrew Luck is the GM of Stanford. Why don't you come in, be the interim coach here? We'll look for a permanent head coach next offseason. Maybe it's you if you want it. Maybe it's not if you don't. But for now, you get a year in Palo Alto to kind of get back into the game and have everybody forget about the Panthers. So it's good to kind of rehab Frank Reich's image. And also it's good for Stanford because for all of the complaints that were had about Frank Reich and how he handled things with the Panthers, good dude, right? Everybody that interacted with him, like super nice guy, virtuous and all that sort of stuff. So if Stanford is dealing with a coach that wasn't handling things in the workplace appropriately, you bring in Frank Reich as some kind of a palate cleanser there. You know things are going to be done the right way. You know things are going to be handled appropriately. And thirdly, it's kind of awesome if you're a player for Stanford, right? You go from your coach gets fired and you're what do I do? I don't even think that there's a portal window open right now. Like I'm just stuck. Oh, never mind. You get an NFL head coach for a year and perhaps more. But somebody with connections, somebody that can call in references, somebody that can help you develop as a player. I think it's very much a win-win-win. Win for Stanford. Like, let me be clear here. Once the situation with their former head coach happened and you move on from him for reasons other than football, as bad as that is and as serious as that is, it's the best you can do for all parties involved. I think it's a good move for Frank Reich, especially with the interim clause, because you got to recruit it. There's low pressure.
I think they literally say it's just a 1 year thing.
They said they'll do the nationwide search in 2026.
Yeah.
So it's very, very like go in here, be a football coach. You don't got to be the whole face of the program thing. It's good for Stanford because they get that palate cleanser after a tough situation. And it's good for the players. Once you lose your coach and you're terrified, now you get a guy that brings some sizzle. So I think it's good. Way to go, Andrew Luck. You pulled it off. What can't that guy do?
It's an interesting situation, to say the least. Man, look at that. Frank Reich doesn't... Hey, you know what? Like you said, palate cleanse for him.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
For both. Very much so.
It's going to be a lot less stressful. That's for darn sure.
Back in the ACC, by the way, they play at UNC, third to last game of the year. So I think it's November 10th. There'll be Frank Reich versus Bill Belichick, and that will not be an NFL game. If you go back that's 5 years ago and say, hey, November, big matchup, Bill Belichick versus Frank Reich, we'd be like, all right, that makes sense. What, Colts, Patriots? Yeah. Old school, Manning, Brady. All right, cool. No. It's going to be Stanford, UNC in Chapel Hill.
Funny.
I don't know. All right, maybe. What number? That was number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Bounce pass, Jackson. Down low, Delaney Thomas open for 2. What a beautiful find.
What great execution on that screen and roll. Delaney with the easy bucket.
So, unfortunately, the ACC will be shut out of the women's Final Four. Duke made it as far as the Elite 8 before losing to South Carolina. UNC made it as far as the Sweet 16 before losing to Duke. And NC State also made it to the Sweet 16 before losing to LSU. The ACC, this goes back to the question we asked earlier, which is, would you rather be the men's Big Ten this year or the men's ACC this year? Or even better question, would you rather be the women's ACC or the men's ACC this year? Would you rather have 7 legit top 25 teams, right? A whole bunch of teams hosting the first and second round of the NCAA tournament, winning games in the NCAA tournament, advancing to things like the Sweet 16. Would you rather have that? Or none of that except for one team that makes it all the way to the Final Four with a full head of steam that might be a generational great? Because I have a hard time looking at the ACC women's season and saying it's any kind of failure because they didn't make it to the ACC tournament. Or, sorry, make it to the Final Four. It is a crapshoot in a lot of ways when you have good teams against good teams. You know, what did I just say? LSU versus NC State? You play that game 10 times, it might be a different, you might 5-5. Right? NC State against South Carolina trying to go to the Final Four again? Or, sorry, NC State, LSU, who was it? It was Duke against South Carolina. Duke versus South Carolina, it's a 4-point game. South Carolina's been to how many Final Fours in a row? You play that game 10 times, Duke's winning a handful of them. It's hard to look at it and say it's some kind of failure, but it does feel a bit unfulfilled not having at least one team make it. Then you talk about the men's side. The men's ACC had a historically bad performance in the NCAA tournament. The fewest teams in ACC history to make it to the round of 32 since they expanded to 32 teams. Yet there's Duke kind of being the flag bearer, still waving the flag, while the Big Ten is completely out. You ready for an analogy? You know I love an analogy. The ACC right now feels like the dodgeball team that everybody got out except for one kid, and the other team still had 8 guys, eight players still alive. But at the end, you might still win. Like, your team might be able to say we won, even though it was just the one kid out there dodging and catching and throwing. Like, it's still, you know, the ACC men might win. I don't know. It's a fantastic question that I can't ask. So, Dennis, I'll put it on you.
Okay.
Would you rather be the ACC women or the ACC men in the NCAA tournament this year?
Oh, this year?
This year. The ACC women, whole bunch of teams in, whole bunch of wins, right? Hosting, it was making it to the second weekend, bunch of really good teams. Or would you rather be the men who have not much winning at all, but you do have the one kind of flag bearer making it all the way to the Final Four and perhaps beyond?
I know. Tournament's always a little bit of a crapshoot, kind of as is, so I probably would say I would have been the women this year. Again, going in,
as a conference,
100%. As a conference, yes.
Because, like, Florida State got a win in the first round. Obviously, State, Duke, and Carolina all won the first weekend.
I mean, it stinks that Duke and Carolina had to play each other in the Sweet 16, so that automatically knocks someone out.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but I think I'm with you. That's number 2. Sorry, that's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Jost tips it out, and Robinson using that speed to get to it. He'll send it out in front. He scores! Lucky number 7 for 77. Mark Mark Jankowski's 7th with the Canes puts them up 1-0.
That is a problem that I'm going to have to address. I need to get better at remembering the numbers on the starting 5. I'm going to think about that and what number 3 and number 2 and how it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that while we listen to 2 minutes of gold from our very own Adam Gold about the win yesterday for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 points provided by 2 of Carolina's absolute best players, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Carolina's dynamic duo of Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. They provided 2 goals, including 2 absolute bangers. How about Jarvis shorthanded from Aho?
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, he'll get the shot. He scores! Talk to me, Shorty. Another one for Seth Jarvis. His 5th shorthanded goal of the year. And the Canes go up 4-3.
And then late on in the third, with Carolina hanging on to a 5-4 lead, once again, backhand magic, the pass from Sebastian in front to Seth Jarvis, who had to fight through traffic to bang this one home.
Jarvis to Aho. Back across. He scores! Oh, my goodness! A masterful play between Aho and Jarvis. And it's 6-4 Carolina.
That one pretty much iced the game. Look, I don't know which one is Robin and which one is Batman. Probably should have mentioned Batman first. But at this point, these guys are 2 stars. Aho plays center, Jarvis is on his wing, and they absolutely share a brain to the point where we have almost forgotten Teuvo Teravainen. Not completely. We love Teuvo. But man, Jarvis and Aho have some synergy right now. How about these numbers? Jarvis has 29 goals. 11 of them, the primary assist goes to Aho. Now, maybe Jarvis should set up Sebastian a little bit more, because on Sebastian's 28 goals, Jarvis has the primary assist on only 6 of them. So selfish. So selfish. Just kidding. Aho, Jarvis together like peanut butter and jelly. Visit ParkwaySleep.com and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for more Aho and Jarvis.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold, breaking down the win yesterday for the Carolina Hurricanes. Dennis, 9 games to play. I'm putting you on the spot here because it's fun for me. 9 games to play. Canes have won 12 of their last 3. What's the priority for the next 9?
Figuring out who plays with who.
Do you think they have that answer by postseason, or are they still tinkering?
I think they're not going to be fully done tinkering until William Carrier comes back. I think that's the king. But also keep in mind as well, you know who's missed a couple games recently, lower body injuries, been Jordan Staal. You want to make sure that he is healthy as well going forward.
Very much correct.
That changes everything.
It's weird. The guys they ask to throw their bodies around the most keep getting banged up. I wonder if there's any kind of connection there to being the heavy presence, wide bodies, right? The physical guys. I'd even include Svech in there. Svech throws his body around as a bigger dude. Carrier, Staal, they're adding up the ouchies.
And Stahl's been pretty much mostly durable his whole career.
Yep. And by the way, I have no reason to believe it's anything like long term or anything like that. We're just talking here because he's missed a couple recently. I do think it's about just being 100% for the postseason, because you need that even more in the postseason than you need it now. Because and this is to their credit and to their maybe they have to overcome it. Carolina's never been afraid to throw out a smaller guy onto the ice, right? The Jarvises, the Stankovens, like they're not. In some ways, they're going to have some smaller guys out there, which means the size that you do have has to make sure it takes care of the things that, size on the ice needs to take care of. So we'll see how it all breaks down. But I agree with you. Finding out the lines is important. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Wait for it. Wait for it. I promise we're going to have it for you.
Go one!
All right.
Cooper with 10 on the timer. Drifts to the right, takes the screen, goes inside, scores, and he's fouled. went right into the chest of Aiden Sherrill, and Cooper's got a chance for 3.
Duke beat Alabama 85-65 to make it to the Final Four. That was the Elite Eight. They won by 20 over they won't be seen as this because what Duke did to them in the Elite Eight. They did that to a generational offense. The game before they played against Duke, they broke the record for most threes made in a single NCAA tournament game and scored 113. BYU scored 88 and lost by 25. And then they played Duke and scored 65. I don't know. I'm sure some statistician has done the research. I wonder if there's a more sizable gap from one game to the next in an NCAA tournament than scoring 113 and 65. That feels like that difference has to be one of the biggest in history. And credit to Duke for making it tough on Alabama. It truly was size matters for Duke. Huh?
Easy, buddy.
There you go. Mark Sears couldn't get a comfortable shot off. And that's impressive because Mark Sears is one of the best creators of open threes in the entire country. All-American for Alabama. And at times he was being switched onto by guys that are 6'9", guys that are 7'2", and they weren't immediately left in the dust. If you're 6'9", 7 foot, and you have the foot speed to keep up with Mark Sears, I don't know what you do on the other side. Because, sweet, we got Sion James. He's 6'5" and perimeter-oriented, so he can defend you. And then you use a screen to get a big man onto your best creator, and the big man stays with you. Jay Williams, friend of the show, friend of the station. He and also a former Duke great second overall pick a handful of years ago, thinks this is one of the best Duke teams ever.
At the beginning of the year, when Duke was playing Kentucky, I was on at halftime. I said, this is the most talented Duke team I've seen since our 2001 team because of their size, because of their length, and it was just the way they defended. I can't tell you guys how many times I've yelled at the TV over the last 15 years, even when we won championships, where we're playing zone defense, right? Or when we're switching, we're staying parallel to the basket. We're not actually denying playing passing lanes, forcing deep offenses to start from half court. This team does that. Now, they lost that game, and people called me crazy for my commentary on Duke, but I firmly believed it because of the way Malawatz can protect the rim, because of the way Knipple and Flagg defend, Tyrese Proctor, all these guys. And every time I was actually at the game last night, and they just continue to beat you in a variety of ways. So, yes, you have to win it, but I would probably say top 3, top 4 Duke teams of all time if they close the deal.
Top 3, top 2. If, it's a big if, they close the deal and win the national championship, the questions become much more about the top team in Duke history than top 3. This team is talented. And by the way, this is not, brand new thinking for me. You can go back preseason when I really dove into watching some of these incoming recruits tapes. I said, goodness gracious, they're my national championship pick. And my number one thing was, if they lose a couple early, if they're 3-3 early, if they lose a couple early in the season, do not panic. They'll be better at the end of the year than they are now. And I said that we have the receipts. They went 5-2 to start, lost to Kentucky, lost to Kansas. There was some speed wobbles there. They've lost one game since. They're a really, really gosh darn good team. Do we want to fire up breaking news for that piece of information I just passed to you? Yeah. Elliot Cadeau, 2-year starter for UNC, point guard, former 5-star recruit, went into the transfer portal a handful of days ago. 247 Sports, Deshaun London had it first. The former 5-star recruit committing to Michigan out of the transfer portal. I have a quote here from Cadeau to 247 Sports. The Michigan coaching staff really believe in me and know what I can do. I want to play in an offense that best suits me and my abilities with the correct players around me so we can all win. He was ranked the number 11 player overall, number 2 point guard in the 2023 class. I'm sure UNC fans will not overreact to Elliot Cadeau finding such an awesome and appearing set up for success landing spot out of the portal so quickly after going in, especially before UNC has had a chance to make a splash replacement signing or recruitment out of the portal for UNC. That is, if I'm Elliot Cadeau going into the portal, it's a very, very good landing spot. Michigan has had success. Dusty May, their coach, the FAU coach I was in the Final Four a couple years ago, appears to have good energy, and they made it did they make it to the Elite Eight this year? Definitely.
Yes, they made it to the
week.
Elite Eight, lost to Auburn.
So in his first year, made it to the Elite Eight. There's something cooking, and Elliot Cadeau is going to be a part of the recipe. We'll revisit that as we move along throughout the show. Still got a little bit of time here, but Elliot Cadeau committing to Michigan. How you feel about that, UNC fans? We'll see. We do need to grab some numbers game contestants. Dennis Cox has something for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. It's that time of year, folks. Who's cutting down the nets? We're going to find out soon, so get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. The prize for today going to the winner is a pair of tickets to see Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. So we're looking about 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a day maybe, away from right now. If you want to play the numbers game, and if you win, get the Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More tickets, call in now, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for the numbers game, which is coming up next.
We're in the middle of the madness.
It came to Maluach to throw it down.
From the first four to the national championship.
Good night. Cooper Flag takes the lead to 18.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, The average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Disturbed tickets. They're coming to Lenovo Center in about 2 weeks, along with Daughtry and Nothing More. And competing for those tickets, we have a pair of tickets going to the winner. Will be David in Willow Spring and Marco in Apex. As always, we will ask a question. They will answer, and Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. David in Willow Spring, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. The question we're asking is, what was the highlight of your past weekend? And because we're a sports show, please keep it sports related.
Watching Duke dismantle Alabama.
All right. Solid answer. We'll go to Marco in Apex. Marco, same question to you. What was the highlight of your past weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
MLB season started, baby. It was great.
All right. How do you feel about torpedo bats?
It's cheating, especially with the short porch over there. That home run hit by Jazz was garbage.
Not a Yankee fan. I appreciate it. Dennis, which answer is your favorite?
I'm probably gonna go lean local. Here go Duke dismantling Alabama. That was something pretty impressive to watch.
It was, and I don't think it's cheating, but I don't think it's going to be cheating soon.
The torpedo bats,
yeah.
They are actually within the rules of the rule book. So they are legal as of now.
I think this season it'll be legal. Next off season they will not be.
Mm-hmm.
It's very golf of them to have an equipment thing make somebody much better and then to immediately go, well, no. But I do think they'll work for this year. That means who goes first? David in Willow Spring?
Correct.
David in Willow Spring, you get to go first. Are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, I am.
All right, the categories are NFL players. Dennis will never get invited to dinner here. These are all players from South Carolina. It took me a while to figure out the name of the category. NFL, Dennis will get a meal here. They're all players from Dennis's home state of Virginia. NBA, Dukies in the association, obviously NBA players that played at Duke, or NHL Hurricanes only.
That's funny. Let me go with Virginia.
All right, these are all NFL players from the state of Virginia. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Torrey Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
89.
Incorrect. Michael Vick, Atlanta Falcons.
7.
Correct. Plaxico Burress, New York Giants.
11.
Incorrect. Torrey Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
30.
Incorrect. Plaxico Burress, New York Giants.
10.
Incorrect. Torrey Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
Pass.
Heath Miller, Pittsburgh Steelers.
87.
You were close there. A little after the buzzer, but you were close. You got Michael Vick with 7. Torrey Smith with the Ravens were number 82. Plaxico Burress with the Giants, 17. So you were right in the kind of area there.
Yeah.
And then Heath Miller with the Steelers, 83 is the number we were looking for. All players from the state of Virginia. We'll see if one holds up. Kind of hope it doesn't because I want to start the week off with a hot streak, but we'll see. Marco and Apex, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that Dennis will not get invited to dinner there because they're all from South Carolina, NBA players from Duke, so Duke players in the NBA, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Duke players in the NBA.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start as soon as you hear the horn. Paolo Banchero, Orlando Magic.
32.
Incorrect. Jared McCain, Philadelphia 76ers.
42.
Incorrect. Paolo Banchero, Orlando Magic.
18.
Incorrect. Jared McCain, Philadelphia 76ers.
55.
Incorrect. Paolo Banchero, Orlando Magic.
Oh, geez. Orlando Magic. 25.
Incorrect. Jared McCain, Philadelphia 76ers.
15.
Incorrect. Paolo Banchero, Orlando Magic.
I don't know who these guys are.
With if you're like an old school Duke fan, these are two of the more relatively new ones. Although Paolo Banchero was the number 1 overall pick, and Jared McCain, before he got hurt this year, was leader to be Rookie of the Year. Banchero number 5 with the Magic, McCain number 20 with the Sixers. You didn't use your pass, so you didn't hear the third, but hopefully you had some fun.
Yeah, good times. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. That means that David in Willow Spring is the winner. David, congratulations.
Thank you. It was ugly, but I'll take it.
Hey, they don't draw pictures on the scorecard, just wins or losses. So you get the win.
That's it.
Which means you get tickets to see Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. Two things, two stories popped up just in my mind about the jersey numbers for Burris, Plaxico Burris and Torrey Smith, which were two of the ones in the winning category. One, Plaxico Burris, one of my favorite stories is Jeff Fiegels. Jeff Fiegels was a punter for the Giants, and he was wearing number 10. They drafted Eli Manning. Eli Manning wanted to wear number 10. It was his number. It was his college number. He had a bunch of money. He just got drafted number 1 overall. Apparently, Fiegels got like his entire kitchen remodeled on Eli Manning's dime because he wanted the numbers. I'll give you number 10, but remodel my kitchen, right? My wife wants a new kitchen. And it worked. So he switched to number 17. And like the next offseason, they traded, or actually they signed Plaxico Burris. Burris came in, said, I want to wear 17. Fiegels said, I want a vacation. Send me and my whole family for 2 weeks to some island. Burris said, I make a bunch of money. Done. Here's number 17. It is good business for punters to just have high real estate value numbers and be willing to part with them when stars get it. I always think that's funny. So anytime I hear Burris or Manning number pop up on our numbers game, I go right to Jeff Fiegels. And then Torrey Smith. Torrey Smith, really good player, went to Maryland, drafted, won a Super Bowl, I believe, with maybe the Ravens, maybe the Eagles. I don't know. He bounced around a bit. Torrey Smith is the best in history at one thing. And I've made this comment a bunch of times. Drawing defensive pass interference. There was nobody better at running 40 yards downfield and having Joe Flacco throw it anywhere near him and just throwing his arms up and falling over and getting the 40-yard pass interference. And so 82, I see it to this day in my brain where he's running down, just a go route, right? Dreads flapping in the breeze. Joe Flacco throws it up, and as soon as I see it's 82, I'm not even hoping for a catch. I'm like, all right, it's going to be a 45-yard pass interference. That's how it always went. So I can't forget those numbers if I wanted to. Just fun facts about the numbers game here with Tim on The Drive. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back where we'll talk about Elliot Cadeau ending up at Michigan, for those of you that haven't heard the breaking news, committing to Michigan out of the portal, UNC former point guard. But first, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. A lot of winnings happening this upcoming weekend. A lot of winning is happening this upcoming weekend, and you can win, too, if you go to caniacsbike.com, because you have until April 6th to enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they're teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a motorcycle. But this year's different, folks. This year's different. It's a custom-built motorcycle. In the past, it was a motorcycle that was custom painted. It had a couple custom features on it, but this is a truly fully custom-built bike. It's one of one, and it could be yours. Imagine pulling up for a game on a Cane's motorcycle. Caniacs motorcycle could be yours. You pull up to a game, no one else in the world has it except for you. That could be you. If you go to caniacsbike.com, you're running out of time. Enter by April 6th. That's this coming Sunday, folks. Caniacsbike.com. One more time, Caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've seen it in person a couple times. I wish I could ride it. I can't. You can. Go to Caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, reacts to Elliot Cadeau, UNC point guard from the last 2 years, hitting the portal and committing to Michigan. Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring. The perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
WRAL News at 6 is coverage you can count on. Get the biggest stories of the day and breaking news as it happens.
Plus, complete weather coverage of your town.
WRAL News has everything you need when you need it, including this special report.
DMV difficulties.
The bones of the structure not changed in at least 2 decades.
Now that the guy in charge is on the way out, what's the plan to fix the DMV?
This is a deep dive.
Tonight at 6.
Ends up to Proctor, but Cadeau gets back and blocks the shot off the backboard.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes Corner. Try that again. Canes Corner. Here on 99.9 The Fan, 7 o'clock tonight. Logan Stankoven will be the guest of honor. Stanky, fresh off a goal. Janky and Stanky. I mean, they are either two new Canes that are playing really well, or they host like a podcast. Stanky and Janky episode coming up next. They're fun to root for. Also, right now, I have a way for some of you to do something fun for yourself. Celebrate Easter weekend at America's favorite car show. Text CAR, C-A-R, to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Good Guys 10th Griots Garage at the NC State Fairgrounds, April 18th and 19th. Text the keyword CAR. That's all you have to text, C-A-R, just one word. No spaces, don't overthink it. To 919-860-5326, and you'll be entered to win. There you go. That's a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. Now, for the news that broke a bit earlier today. Really, just moments ago. Elliot Cadeau, former 5-star recruit, North Carolina player the last 2 years, starting point guard the last 2 years. We knew he entered into the portal a handful of days ago. He has found his next home, according to 247 Sports. He is committed to Michigan. Michigan, I believe, made it to the Sweet 16 this year.
They got to, Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. Dusty May, their coach from FAU, the team FAU, the Owls, made it to the Final Four in 2023. He's taken over Michigan, and they had a solid season. Big Ten in general, not as, but Michigan, had a solid season. If I'm a if I'm a North Carolina fan and I hear that Elliot Cadeau is going to Michigan, I'm not like outwardly mad, angry, worried, whatever. But I am looking at Hubert like, you better know what you're doing. I'm going to give you your time to do what you're going to do, but you better know what you're doing. It's actually one of, and I love a movie reference or a show reference. It's one of my favorite examples. Are you familiar with the show Entourage? From HBO.
We had Jay Ferrara on the show.
Oh yeah, we had Turtle on the show. There's a scene, I think it's from the pilot, where the movie star Vincent Chase is being advised by his buddy, aka his friend that was running a Sbarro's pizza shop like a couple months ago. And the friend tells him to pass on a movie, right? Reads the script. I don't like it. And the agent calls and goes, hey, let your boy know, right? Like telling the pizza boy, let your boy know Colin Farrell just took the movie, and hangs up. So, for example, right? Like you passed on a movie, Colin Farrell took it. If it becomes, the next Titanic because Colin Farrell's in it, you're going to be the guy that passed on the next Titanic, and it's all going to be because your buddy told you could get something better. And the buddy looks at the movie star and says, like, what are you thinking? And the movie star looks at his friend and says, I hope you know what you're doing, pizza boy. And scene. So let me put that in perspective now for the Tar Heels, right? Hubert Davis, for better or worse, you might say he chose to move on from Elliot Cadeau. You might say he couldn't hold on to Elliot Cadeau, and Cadeau left despite Hubert's best interest to hold him. Like, we don't know who initiated the split, but you know that the split happened. And this is the call saying Colin Farrell just took the movie, right? Michigan just took the point guard. Michigan is not, like, this is not a player leaving the Power 5 and going to some mid-major. This is not a team going from UNC and going to be a role player on a lesser ACC team. This is a player going to a program that it wants to spend the money to win. And now UNC is going to look at Hubert. I hope you know what you're doing, Coach Davis. Right? I hope this next movie that we're waiting on, that the script you said would be so much better, I hope it's so much better. If Elliot Cadeau goes to Michigan and lights it up, whatever point guard you bring out of the portal to take his place, or Ian Jackson stepping up and being the point guard one and leading the show, whatever it is, I hope you know what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing. Because there are plenty of examples in March Madness this year, in the NCAA tournament, of guys that were somewhere and went somewhere else, and all of a sudden they're a great player. They're a leading scorer. They're a conference player of the year. Oh, wait a second. Am I describing Caleb Love? It's happened even within UNC recently, right? Caleb Love left UNC. What happened? He immediately became, the Big 12 player of the year. That's real. Even in a loss, Caleb Love came out looking pretty good against Duke in the Elite Eight, in the Sweet 16 for Arizona. Like there is a bit of opportunity cost here in the portal. You can get better in the portal. You can let good players walk and bring in better players. You absolutely can do that. There's nothing saying that you won't.
Duke did it.
Duke did it a whole bunch. And that's not even, I wouldn't even say necessarily all of that was better players. You can bring in better fits.
Yeah, the right players.
Yes, you can bring in the right players. So now, Elliot Cadeau is going to land on his feet. Surprise. Right? He's a good player. May not have been the best fit for whatever UNC was doing, but he's a good player. He's going to land on his feet somewhere else. He's going to be fine. UNC now has to figure out a way for them to also land on their feet and maybe even be thriving in a different way.
So I'm curious.
All
He
right.
went in with the designation, Elliot Cadeau, when he entered the transfer portal, but do not contact.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way that coaches could talk to him is if Cadeau initiated the conversation. I wonder how many schools he contacted and which ones. I'm just thinking aloud here. Not that it really matters, but I'm just kind of curious because it's just like, hey, Michigan. Hey, I'll just let you know I want to come play for you. Oh, okay.
I do wonder, and there's agents involved, and it's so different.
There's a whole lot of that.
I do wonder how much information players have on their market before they hit the transfer portal. Like, hey, if I hit the portal, am I getting calls or calling Michigan, Kansas, Kentucky? Or am I calling everywhere and hoping for the big dogs? Like, where is my value? Because the sad part of the portal is when guys go into the portal thinking X, Y, and Z teams are going to be really interested, and it turns out A, B, and C teams are interested, and or no teams are interested, or they have to drop down a level or whatever it is, and they end up regretting it. That's a bummer. And I wonder how players can know that before going into the portal. I'm assuming it's agents and high school coaches and AAU coaches all kind of through the grapevine. But if you go in with a no contact designation, you're pretty confident that your market is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically jumping to like the part of your recruit. You see it in high school recruiting. I've limited to my top 6. Thank you to everybody that was recruiting me, but I'm going to focus on these 6 schools. Basically says you don't want like your phone blowing up all the time from all these coaches that you're not interested in going to. Like, it's basically starting there, saying I know I'm such a big time recruit that I'm going to entertain these 3, and I don't know if they want me or not, but those 3 are the ones I'm going to operate with, which is a fascinating place to be. But yes, Hubert Davis, as there should be, there's a lot of pressure on the UNC coach because, hey, guess what? It's UNC basketball. People are going to be looking at you and saying, all right, Cadeau landed on his feet. Where's our landing spot?
Yeah, who lands here?
Is it this guy from the Mountain West? Is it this guy from some power conference school whose coach left? Like, what are we getting now that Cadeau is settling in elsewhere? And it's a legitimate question that you're going to need to have a good answer for. You don't need to have it now, plenty of time, but eventually you're going to need to have a good answer for it. And it might be Ian Jackson's going to step up and be the guy, but then you need to use the roster spot somewhere else to give Ian Jackson somebody to run with or another person to run with. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis is waving his hand at me. That means he's got some information for all of you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, two cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Overdrive is coming up next here on 99.9 The Fan, and we'll start with the Duke conversation. And don't forget, Kane's Corner, Logan Stankoven, 7 o'clock. Enjoy that as well. We'll see you tomorrow.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It's clear that Luka has breathed new life into this Lakers franchise, and LeBron James has been energized by it. And guys, starting to get my hopes up.
Oh, no.
Starting to get my hopes up. I'm starting to believe. I'm now at the place where I expect a deep play.